I think we should be all set now, so I'll just do a quick reintroduction. It's time for the 200 League semifinals. We're going to be watching the match between Rated R and African Lion Safari Tour Guides. And like I was saying, you might have heard the end of the sentence off stream, but as I was saying, the tour guides, a lot of members from there were also part of a previous now no longer running clan called Uprising, and they were actually the first clan to ever defeat Rated R in the tournament setting. They had been undefeated up until that point. So we know that they're capable of winning this despite Rated R being the favorites to not only win this match, but also the whole tournament. And gyrodos, I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, and I'm excited to learn a lot about 200cc. I think I'm going to be introduced to a lot of things that I'm not used to because I'm a 150 main for sure. I've only played it, for fun mainly, but it's going to be exciting to see.
Right, and as we are watching 200cc, you will definitely notice a couple of different things from 150cc that some of you guys might be used to. So I will do my best to kind of be your 200cc guide and explain things that you might not be accustomed to. And the first of which I'll actually talk about right now is the combo meta. So obviously, speed is less important in 200cc because since you're already going so fast, you want to, maybe have a little more control over your vehicle. So you're not going to be seeing Wiggler pretty much at all in top level 200cc. And while Biddy is definitely making its name as definitely making a statement as being a part of the 150 meta, it is like the best vehicle for 200cc because of how important general driving is in the mode.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, is there any tracks where you bag, or is it all running? Oh,
there are definitely running tracks. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, no, there are definitely running tracks, and there are definitely bagging tracks, and we'll get into that later because we now have some lineups on the screen, and what we can see here is really just stacked to the brim for both teams. On the side of Rated R, we're looking at Darky, Thomas, Varo, James, Yoshi Racer, and Toshiki. And for the tour guides, we're looking at Euan, Alpaco, Ethan, Kuzu, Sky the Kid, and Tegan. Now, some of those names might be familiar to you in 150. They are definitely familiar to all you 200 players out there. But, yeah, these are all very, very powerful players and very, very powerful teams as well.
Darky and Varo, both top 150 players as well. We see Yoshi Racer, member of XY and 150cc, and Tegan, part of my previous team in Battle Brigade. So it's going to be very fun to see what these guys are capable of and what we're going to see out of both these teams.
Yeah, and I have gotten word that Yoshi Racer is being subbed out. We don't know for who yet, but we do know that he needed a last-minute sub, so we're going to be finding out who that is shortly once the room opens. And one last thing before we get started, I would like to give a huge shout-out to Nino because we did not have a stream host for this, and he stepped up yesterday and told me, hey, I'm willing to learn how to stream host so that we can actually get this cast up and running. So thank you to him. Otherwise, we would not be here right now.
Yeah, he's doing a great job so far.
And we're getting word that the sub was XNTS, so we're going to see how that pans out for him. XNTS, in XNTS, you may know as, he plays for Midnight Wasps in 150, right?
I'm not too sure.
I believe he plays for Midnight Wasps in 150, but what we do know...
Oh, we're seeing the room start.
Yeah, the room has started, the room is up. And I believe he plays for Midnight Wasps in 150, but what we do know is that he is actually the rank 1 player in 200cc Lounge.
So are these both...
And the only Grandmaster.
200cc, or are these...
Are these both what?
Are these both runners in 200cc, or is TM a drafter as well, or...
So TikTok Clock is still a runner. TikTok Clock is definitely still a runner. The NISC doesn't exist, and the middle path at the beginning doesn't exist, but I'm sure you probably have heard of the Clock Hop.
Yes, I have seen the Clock Hop as well.
Right. Oh. So yeah, that is still a runner. And as far as Twisted Mansion is concerned, you could consider it a drafter. You consider it a couple of different things. I know a lot of teams like to pick it when they start in 2-3. That seems to be a popular 2-3 track, is Twisted Mansion. So I don't know what spot the tour guides are starting in, but we do see Euan up here in 4th, and that's going to be our POV for the side of the tour guides, and Thomas is looking to start off in 1st and keep that for Rated R.
And all the distances are the same in 150 as in 200. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, you are. We're going to see Varro. Yeah, we're going to see Varro swimming up at the very beginning here and taking first place. The right path is actually faster on 200cc. That's another thing to note. And Rated R currently holding down top 2 with the tour guides in, as we last saw them, 3-4. Maybe looking
we have quad protection coming out for Thomas in 1st. So it looks like this could be a pretty good run for them.
Yep. Nobody's shrooming up quite yet, and we are going to be able to look into what Euan sees right now. We see Varro has dropped to 3rd,
Rated R.
And he's kind of surrounded by his members. Unfortunately, Sky the Kid getting killed out there. And it looks like we still have Rated R in top 2, assuming Thomas is holding down 1st. The tour guides are looking in 3-4-5 right now. Alpaco's back there, and I'm assuming Kuzu would be Landry up there as well. James is making his way up.
Big breakaway as well.
Yeah, getting a big breakaway for those high up Rated R members. James making his way up as well. I did not quite catch who was in that bill. Euan going to be getting rid of his greens, hoping for a last item to maybe take a couple of spots. Not going to happen, unfortunately, and he's going to get shocked in the
cut. Anyone dodge up?
Cut. No dodges, it looks like. Euan is still going to hold down 5th, so one person did pass him. That is going to be a top 3 for Rated R, though. A top 3, 6, 8, 11. So that is going to definitely be a solid start for them. Definitely how they were looking to open this up.
Yeah, just from this first race, it seems like front presence is just the king in this mode, because when you get up there, it's just almost impossible to get it back. You have to do a lot more than you do in 150. That's for sure.
Yes, that is true. And another thing is pulling blue is not quite necessarily a guarantee, you know.
Oh yeah, because you can outrun the blue.
You can outrun the blue, not on all tracks. TM you cannot outrun because that last turn, once you land from the glider, is very, very tight. But there are definitely some tracks that you can outrun on. I do not believe either of these tracks are one of them. So we're not going to be seeing that come into play quite yet, but we potentially will later. And as we see, Rated R has gotten out to a 20-point lead early on.
I'm guessing DAC is some sort of bagging track for the tour guides here.
Very much a mixed track. It's runnable, given the right season, of course, and it is definitely baggable. I will say, the last turn on DAC 200 is the single most chaotic turn in the entire game. It will make or break your race. You can start it in 1st, and you can end up in last, or vice versa.
So just like 150, nothing's changed.
Yes. And we're going to see fall, so no interruption for those who plan on running. And another thing I'd like to note is we do see Euan on Yoshi, and that's another thing. While heavies are still definitely prominent in the meta, you can get away with using a lighter character because you are getting more MT stat, more handling, and ultimately more control over your character.
Euan taking the cut, trailing out in a Rated R member. Now we got
great trail on Darky there. Unfortunately for Euan, though, he's going to have to be careful of XNTS. Going to pick up that.
He's going to get double redded.
And he is going to get redded out. It does look like Rated R has a lot of front presence at the moment. And yes, Thomas is in 2nd. XNCS still holding down 1st. Nearly gets smart bounce there. But I believe, yeah, that's going to be Toshiki in 3rd. I think Alpaco in 4th. So a top 3 for Rated R. Definitely solid. But Thomas...
stolen, and
Thomas gets hit out in the cut and drops all the way down to 9th. Unfortunately, only snagging an 8th place box for himself and getting trailed. So Thomas is not looking too hot right now, but he is about to enter the second last set in 9th. And like we mentioned about the last turn, if he can go through this in a star, he's set. Thomas is set. Thomas is getting a top spot.
Uses a bill early, though.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm guessing it's going to take you to the finish line here?
Yes.
Okay.
And... Alright, a modest 7th for Thomas, and it's going to be another top 2, 6-7 for Rated R. So, not as much of a win as they were able to get in the first race, but definitely still going to be increasing their lead.
Yeah, and if Rated R just keep chaining runs. This might be hard to come back for the tour guides. And is this a best of 3? I'm guessing.
It is a best of 3, and
Alright.
yep. This is another 200 thing I'd like to mention. This may seem like an odd track pick to you if you're a 150 player, but Moo Moo Meadows is the single best runner in this mode. If you start in first and you don't get hit out for the first lap, you are gone. You can outrun red shells on this track, let alone blue shells. You are just gone if you can survive
Wow.
the first lap of this track.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just outrun literally anything that can come for you.
Yes, the
That's
only thing that can, the only items, there are only 2 items that could ruin your chance of getting first on this track if you have a good start on it, and that's a shock and a blooper.
Oh yeah, blooper for the first race. It looked like bloopers just sucked because it didn't look like
Yeah.
you could really take any turn normally. You just had to like in 150, you can just you basically turn like a lot more than you would normally. But it looks like in
Yes.
200, you just like literally slide out, and that doesn't look like it's very good for these guys. All right.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure who the pink gold peach in first is, because I'm pretty sure XNTS is on Roy. It might be XNTS. But Thomas kind of struggling with the bumps, and he's going to take the shroom cut, unfortunately hitting a cow, but will get the doubles, so that he might end up with a solid spot after all. Euan, who has switched on to heavyweights, is sitting with a shroom in the middle of the pack, and he's going to be able to draft up. Oh, unfortunate drill for Tegan, and that's also going to
Oh, looks like tour guides taking a top 3. This is huge for them.
That is big for the tour guides, and Euan is going to be shrooming his way into first,
as
with
if they
plenty of support from his teammates.
They have a shroom and a horn in top 2, so
yeah, they are golden right now, and
it's up to them now.
You know, they can pretty much, as long as they don't completely fumble the bag here, I think they're going to be set. And yeah, you can just use the shroom to get rid of the blooper, so that's a non-factor for him. He is going to absolutely be walking away with first place here. Even the shock.
And is that a top 4 for tour guides right now?
It may potentially be. I don't quite know who the Gold Marios are, but that is definitely a very good race for tour guides.
I remember Gold Marios
in
a
top 5.
Top 5.
Unfortunately, Tegan getting last, but that is definitely
huge
the response that tour guides was looking for. Yeah. That's going to make things close. I don't think tour guides is going to take the lead back just yet because that last is pretty bad, but we're going to have a look at the scores in just a moment. And they're going to be going straight to Mute City.
Oh, they do take the lead.
They do by 2 points. And Mute City, another very strong runner in 200. As you know, the Nisk from 150 obviously still here. It's much easier. It's much easier in this mode.
Do you skip the first ramp for sure, right? But do you skip the second ramp sometimes?
You do. Yes, you just fly right over it.
Oh, okay.
And another thing to know is for Mute City, we'll see if it gets picked. It will. Another thing to note for Mute City is I know on 150 you the way you get coins is you kind of drift over to the pad on the right. That is really slow on 200 because it's really hard to get to realign yourself properly to be able to take the next turn after getting those coins. So you're going to see players waiting until the coin panels after the second set to be collecting all their coins. Yes. And Euan going wide for the boost panels. He will maintain first. He does have his teammates' support behind him, and
Ooh, getting bumped out though.
Unfortunately, getting bumped out. But this is kind of the textbook Mute City race on 200. Thomas, unfortunately, missing out on both sets. It looks like Andy's gonna get trailed. Don't know if that was his mate or not, but that's a rough start for him. I could see him probably going around and getting the doubles. Euan, I'm not quite sure what happened to him. I don't know if he failed Nisk or if he got bumped off in it or something, but he's going to be stuck in last. We do see R in 9 and 10 at the moment, and it looks like the tour guides have held down first. Maybe. Yeah. I saw a Gold Mario up there, but it does look like a Waluigi has reclaimed first place. So Euan's going to be slowing down and pulling shock. That's huge. The blue is big as well, but definitely not as much as the shock. And
Rated R definitely gonna see this though, so it's gonna be up to whether or not they can use this.
Darky looks like he's going to be in a dodge for the remainder of this race, and dodging Darky is a decision that I'm not sure how to feel about. We're gonna see how that ends up panning out. He has a star now in the mid pack.
The blue does come out, and it does look like tour guides have first locked down with that gold Mario in first.
Yes. Euan getting rid of those greens has to not trill Tegan. A good move by him. I believe that was Sky that just got killed. And that's a huge bomb on Darky. The tour guides are getting top 3.
Wow.
Very, very well done by them. Incredible
So it looked like,
bomb placement.
It looked like... Oh, James takes over first for Rated R.
And that will be... Was that a bottom 4 from TG? It was.
Man.
Ooh. So yeah, that actually is going to be a losing race for them, unfortunately. And it looks like R are going to be taking back the lead thanks to James. So we're going to see what both teams make of this situation. And yeah, Rated R has reclaimed the lead by 16 points. You see Euan switching back to Yoshi. And it looks like both teams are going to not really be comfortable going runners. We see DP3 from one side and Desert from the other.
So is there any Streetle tracks? Is that what he's going desert, or
well,
is DP3?
I mean, obviously Streetle's good on DP3 and Desert. There are Streetle tracks. The only one that people like actually switch to Streetle for a lot is Dolphin Shoals, and even then that doesn't really happen very often. It happens, but not a lot. Okay. So Euan is definitely going to be taking advantage of that on Donut Plains 3, potentially. We are going to be taking a look into this track, and this track is one of the weirdest tracks in the game. I don't even know what to call this. It's kind of a bagging track. It's kind of a running track. It's something. I don't know how to describe what kind of a track DP3 is on 200. It's whatever the hell you want it to be, pretty much.
Ooh, Euan getting bumped out. Pulls a shroom though.
Yeah. Is going to have to use it to recover, but he is going to want to stay in this bottom 4 spot and probably grab those doubles. Not going to quite see what he gets, though, as Thomas is looking to make a statement in the front. Alpaco has taken over first place, but he does have 2 R members on his back. Tegan is up here with triple greens, which is huge because he's surrounded by R members. He's unfortunately not going to be trailing anyone, and Thomas is going to do, I think, the smart move by going around the Nest guys to not be hit by him.
Oh, Tegan takes over first, though.
Unfortunately, pulling double bananas. And once again, we see a bunch of R members behind. Yeah, XNTS does get trailed out. And we're back to once again seeing the entirety of R behind Tegan. And that's going to be a shock by, I believe, TG, because I saw both Yoshis dodge up. Yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be Euan, and it's going to be Ethan in first. Alpaco in third. This could very well be a top 3. XNTS is getting 4th. So yeah, this is going to be a top 3 for R. Or a top 3 for TG, rather. I'm sorry.
Looks like 4, 5, 6 for... No? Okay.
Top 3, 6, top 8, 3, 10. 6. And with that, I believe the horror guides have reclaimed the lead.
Man, this is really close.
Yeah,
I thought Rated R at the beginning with those first 2 races could have just broken away with this, but Tour Guide's putting up a really good fight.
Yeah, they are down, but they are down. They are definitely not out. Tour Guide's definitely never, ever a team to underestimate, especially in a situation like this. Like I said, they were the first team to ever... their members were a part of the team that was the first team to ever defeat Rated R in a tournament setting, and they are looking to do it again as they are leading by 6 going into the 6th race, I believe.
Yeah, so is there is Royal Raceway a bagger, or
Royal Raceway is another mixed type of track?
Okay, because it looks like these teams are not. What are the baggers that people? I know Excite Bike Arena. I heard a fun fact that Excite Bike Arena was a sort of bagger, right? Because you want to get shrooms and just go on the sides.
It's somewhat, yeah, but Excite Bike is not nearly as common in 200 as it is in 150, and Royal is another kind of mixed track. It's definitely runnable. There's that beginning disc that is quite there's a beginning disc that is quite risky to go for, but if someone chooses to go for it and lands it, then they could very well see themselves in first to start off the race. Euan unfortunately burning out, so we're gonna see what his game plan is. He's going to be bagging. Yeah, that makes sense.
We do see some baggers.
Yeah, we see a lot of baggers, more than I was expecting to see, honestly. Both POVs are bagging. Thomas in the back here with 4 shrooms, and Euan even further behind him, probably with more shrooms, maybe a star. But yeah, this is much more bagging than I'm accustomed to seeing on 200. Maybe there'll be like one from each team at most, but we actually see quite a few people in the back right now. Thomas is going to be getting rid of his items to go into this last double and hope to maybe secure something powerful for his team, and he will do exactly that.
And it looks like this is going to be very disruptive for the top 2 that Tour Guys have right now. Potentially even top 3.
Yeah, we're going to see if they choose to target Shock right here or if they choose to hold it for later. TG definitely sees it and opts to hold their Shock. I actually agree with that decision because it is only lap 2 and you know, your lap 3s can be very important. Unfortunately, that bomb from the Crazy 8 Euan pulled is going to be kind of disruptive, and Thomas is going to be dodging 2 TG members in Bills. Well, Sky the Kid and Alpaco are going to try and make their way up the pack now.
He can hold it down first for now, but it looks like the Roy is catching up. They're in second on the minimap.
Yep. Thomas will bill past both of them, but unfortunately be handed a bill of his own, and probably takes a star through the short.
Can the Roy take over on the final corner? Looks like Tegan holds down first.
Tegan holds down first. We do not know. I believe the Roy has to have been
6.
Yeah, the Roy has to have been R. So it's going to be a 1-5-6-7 and a 9-10. I think that's a fairly even race. I think it's a very, very slight Tour Guides win because of that bottom 2 from R.
It looked like the Shock did help out a lot because they did have top 2 until the Shock. So even though they did dodge 2 GG members, it didn't look like it mattered in the end.
Right.
So I want to ask, what are the main baggers that people like to pick in this in 200?
Obviously Desert and Cheese, and another one on top of that might not be as common in 150 is Super Bell Subway, just because you're cycling through so many items in such a short amount of time that even if the track is quite runnable, it is definitely possible to pull a Shock because it has the most items in the game, and you're cycling through them at such a rate that Shock is almost bound to happen.
Okay, we do get Dolphin here. Wondering how many people are actually going to switch to Streetle here because of MC looked like it would have been rough for them, but
yeah, maybe MC would definitely have been rough for that, so I would not be surprised to see 0 Streetles in the room. However, there will be 2. Actually, is that a Bitty Buggy on Pink Gold Peach? Actually, no, there's 0. Yeah. I cannot tell from far away. Don't listen to me. So,
I'm guessing this is a sort of drafter as well, because
this is very similar to 150. It is harder to draft on just because of the nature of 200, but it is used in a similar vein to what you will see on 150cc. So, Euan is going to be making his way up the pack, not holding very many coins, so going to get bumped around quite quickly.
Rated R top 2. Looks like people taking the bomb. Oh, that's a huge bomb!
That's a massive bomb, hitting 3 members of TG, and all of them, I believe, were itemless at the time, so they're going to be struggling to make their way up. They did just cross the item set and got
it looks like a 1-3-4 for Rated R right now.
Yep, XNTS in third with those triple nanas is going to be huge. He's going to trail Euan off. That is massive.
Race over, it looks like, for Euan, unfortunately.
Not quite. We do see that TG member quite far back there in last. If Euan is able to pull a dodge here, then something.
Oh, that! Oh my!
Oh,
right as he gets the bill, it just gets ghosted.
And it wasn't. I do believe it wasn't our member that sold it. It looked like it was Varo up there. So.
It does look like
Euan pulling a bill in 6 from that distance. Tell me there's definitely Shock in play, which tells me that TG most certainly has it. Thomas and a bill in third.
Okay.
TG holding down first, but R in those 2-3 spots definitely putting the pressure on.
Oh, a huge Shock coming out from Tour Guides.
That is absolutely a Tour Guide Shock. We're gonna see so many of them dodging up right now. And Thomas
looks like at least a top 2 plus more coming out for Tour Guides.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge race for Tour Guides. Unfortunately, Tom is just getting absolutely the short end of the stick there. It's going to be a top 2, 4, 5, 6 there. Ethan absolutely holding it down, despite the last place, doing absolutely everything he possibly could have for his team.
Yeah, I thought when Euan got trailed off the track and into like a, no coins, I thought it was completely over, but It
Yeah,
looks
no,
like in 200 shocks do matter quite a bit because that
shocks
2-3
are
instantly
shocks.
became a bottom 2 at the end.
Yeah, it is. It is harder to use shocks in 200 just because you have less opportunity to do so. But when you use it right, it is so powerful. And we're gonna see R responding to that definitely the way you would expect them to in a bagging track. And one of Torguide's favorite tracks is coming up as well in Piranha Plant Slide. I know this is definitely something that Euan loves picking in Lounge. We're gonna see how they're able to stay up there if it does get chosen. It won't. It's gonna be Cheeseland.
I'm guessing this plays similar to 150, where people like to just take all the cuts in the world, and
Mm-hmm.
I would assume also shocks are pretty good because the cuts as well. You're gonna want to
Yes.
like.
And the Bell Strat's still around. The Bell Strat is still the same.
I wonder if we're gonna see like 6 baggers, maybe only like a couple, or if we're gonna see like the whole room do it.
Usually we see about 1 runner per team. 1 to 2 runners per team is typically what I see when I play this in scrims in 200.
Literally just the same as 150. Once again, not much different than I thought it was.
Yeah, not much different. There definitely are a lot of tracks that are wildly different. Like Moo Moo Meadows is definitely the biggest example.
Okay.
Another thing I want to mention, while, it's lap 1 at Cheeseland, there's not really much to talk about, is you might be thinking, when these teams are getting a ton of top spots, where's Warrior Stadium? That might be something you're accustomed to seeing in 150. That's not really something that people pick for first place, because just because of the nature of 200, it's really easy to get bumped out, so it's not a risk a lot of teams are willing to take, but it is something that some teams might try picking when they have, like, 2, 3, 4, because of the prospect of bumping first out, because they start off on an awkward line.
Okay, the blue shell does end up hitting Torguide's out, but it looks like he's gonna still keep first.
Yeah, he definitely has a huge break, but as we know, just from Cheeseland in general, 1 shock and that lead is gone. So, we're going to see if it does get pulled. I would be shocked if it doesn't. Euan pulling a star in 6 from that distance tells me that it's definitely in play right now. He's going to be holding that to the set, I would presume, and be holding it for even longer. TG most likely has it from this holding. And
blue comes out, the shock happens.
Yep, there's Toshiki.
Ooh, unfortunately, the blue does go for Torguides, though.
Yep,
but
and that's going to be another top 2 for Torguides. A top 2, 4, maybe a top 3. We're going to see if that gold Mario did end up passing the Waluigi at the end there. Let's see.
At least a top 2, 4.
They did.
Top 3 for Torguides.
It's going to be a top 3, 7, 9, 10. That's another very solid race for them. And they're going to be increasing their lead yet again. And Rated R, the pressure is definitely on for them. But if anyone's going to be able to come out on top in a moment like this, they are the team to do it. They are the #1 seed for a reason. They went 10-0 in the regular season for a reason. They are the best 200 team in the world for a reason. And if anybody is going to make this comeback, it is going to be them.
Wow, so it looks like Torguides could potentially have a massive upset on their hands if they play their cards right in these final races.
Yes, and I like the big blue pick here. I'm going to be honest. I like the big blue pick here. It's not something that you see very often, but it definitely has the potential to work out because R might be thrown off by it, whereas maybe TG has practiced this.
So I'm guessing this would be even like a bigger cannon box, right, for 200, because when first has that breakaway, they're gonna give the cannon box like an even bigger. But also,
no, Big Blue is not a very common track in 200. Obviously, the ultra shortcuts a factor.
Oh yeah.
The cannon set is still a factor. Not much changes from it from 150, except that it's just just over a minute long.
Okay, we're
not going to be seeing that. We're going to be seeing our second straight bagging track in Dry Desert here, and we're going to be seeing Euan run this, which I'm interested to see. The only runner in the lobby, which does not surprise me. I'm kind of surprised that we're not going to see anyone from R up here, but I feel like TG is more likely to send someone up. Okay, there might have been lag there because we now see an R member. I believe that Mario is an R member. I think it's Varo, if I'm not wrong, is going to be making... Yep, it's Varo. He's going to be making his way into second. And we're going to see a nice POV of the back. Your TRS gameplay. Or actually, it would be the tiers are
Ooh,
numbered instead
Bill.
of lettered in 200 Lounge, so it's tier 1 gameplay. But
Pulling Bill Golden, though, is very unfortunate. Not going to be able to go for that first set. And the shock does come
there's
out
the
for
first
tour
shock.
guides.
Yeah, probably a tour guide shock, considering that Tegan dodged in third. Not 100% sure, though. We don't know if maybe there's another one in play. We don't know if... Actually, no, I highly doubt there's another one in play. If there was,
Gold
then
Mara
we
taking
probably
over
would-
first, at least a 1-3 for tour guides right now.
Yes.
A 1-4.
And we're going to see Thomas making his way up the pack in a Bill. Is that a Bill in first from Alpaco? No, it's a bomb. It's a bomb. Okay, false alarm. So that's going to be a top 2 for TG.
If they can keep it here in the final stretch, looks like it, though.
Assuming no shock, and there will be no shock, yeah, that's going to be another top 2 for TG. And they're going to be bombing 2 R members at the line. Maybe they'll get another few spots off of that. They will. They'll get a top 3, 5, 8.
Taco sacrificing his indivs for the team, just as you should.
Yeah, love to see it. If you're a fan of TG in the chat, and they're going to be springing out to an even bigger lead, and I think... Let's have a look. I believe that was the 9th race, and they are going to be leading by 72 points after 9. So this is still possible. Rated R is going to need to put together 3 incredible races, but this is still possible for Rated R, and they think that Baby Park is going to be where they get it done.
Yeah, I'm guessing since it's so short, you're never going to really see a stock on that track, but I'm guessing you'll see some lap trolling.
One of the few 200cc league matches that Rated R has ever lost came at the hands of Baby Park, when their opponent was able to pull shock, get a massive race, and then win by 2. But
really, I would think it like barely lasts 30 seconds, right? Because
well, I mean, obviously, the world record is a 44-second time. And obviously it's going to be a little bit longer than that because we're not driving world record lines in here. But
okay,
we're going to be having a look at probably about 55 to 60 seconds of gameplay here, which could really be, honestly, anything. Anything can happen in these 60 seconds of gameplay right now. We're going to see Euan just driving forward.
Okay, only 2 baggers, looks like. Guessing 1 from each team.
Yeah, no, people don't bag as much on Baby Park in this mode. Another thing I do want to know, I was talking about that race where Rated R ended up losing by 2 because of a shock. Thomas was the one playing for the other team that pulled that shock, but now he is a member of Rated R. So we're going to see if that luck translates over to them now. And let's
the golden is tragic.
Yeah, the golden is a terrible item for this track, and he's not going to get the chain. He is going to get shocked. We have no idea who shock that was. It looks like maybe a TG shock. We do see a couple TG members in dodges.
Finishing the race already, I'm guessing?
And we're going to see Thomas and a Bill for the remainder of
lap
7.
That looks just getting high. I think top 2 at least for tour guides. Oh,
it's
no.
Be a 2-3, 7, 8, 9, 11. That's a fairly even race. That's pretty close to, like, tied or something. I think it might be slightly in the favor of Rated R, because they have a couple more top spots. But
could this... Is there...
I do
Can
not
they
think
even
it's
come
over
back
yet.
from this? Okay.
No, they can't.
This could be the momentum shift for them.
They are down 68 after 10, so they're going to have to put together basically 2 top 5s if they want to win this. And
I'm guessing RMP is also another one of those runners. People...
It's definitely a track that Rated R really, really enjoys picking. And, you know, they have a lot of members that are very comfortable driving it. Unfortunately, a couple of them are not here for the occasion. From the 200L Overdrive tournament, that was the most recent 200cc event for Mario Kart Central, which Rated R actually won. They were able to do so because of the help of the Japanese players they had on their roster. Edgy and K4I were both present and playing, and were able to help bring in the win for Rated R. Unfortunately, they are not awake at the moment, and Toshiki is the only person on the other side of the sea that we're going to be seeing here. I don't know if that's a factor that's leading to the events that we're witnessing right now, but it is something to know, and we are going to see tour guides getting their track back in Piranha Plant Slide.
Okay, and it looks like it's just a lot of chaos here at the beginning, more than anything. Looks like we see a lot of tour guides members up here, but also Rated R doesn't look like they're stopping.
Yes, and Euan seems to be having a lot of his teammates in front of him, which I'm sure he's happy to see. XNTS is going to be in first, and we
getting
are
bumped,
going to
though.
see another R member up here as well, in James.
Where's that blue going? Oh
I have
my.
no idea. I think that blue was. I'm not even going to attempt to tell you about that blue because I have no idea what happened with it. I think that's going to be a top 2 for R though, and Euan is going to look to potentially do something about it.
Okay, 2, 3, 4 for tour guides.
Yeah, I did not catch. I saw the gold Mario. I just somehow thought it was an R member, so that's my bad. But Euan is looking to get rid of this fire as he's surrounded by his teammates, and even in the situation that TG is in, they don't even have to play risky. They don't have to take James out at first. They just have to hold down the spots they have right now in their 2, 3, 4, 5. And this first game is all theirs. So Darky's going to be making his way up. Euan,
huge bomb though coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, but Euan takes out Rivers.
Yeah, that first from Euan is going to seal it. That first from Euan is going to seal it. And tour guides are actually going to be taking the first game.
Just incredible stuff.
Yeah.
From 1, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, Euan absolutely popping off. Alpaco popping off as well, but Euan on 120 after just 11 races. Absolutely incredible war from him.
Just incredible from the tour guides. Those first 2 races from Rated R looked like it was just a done deal, and it didn't look like there was much fight in the beginning, but tour guides keeping their mental strong and just saying to themselves, okay, guys, we need to shore up ourselves, and we can do this, and they did.
A lot of tour guides members and a lot of tour guides fans are very, very happy to see this in the chat, and you know, I'm happy for you guys. You guys definitely put together a very, very good war for the first game, but R does have 2 chances to respond. We're going to see if they are going to do so.
A lot of love in the chat for tour guides. I will say that.
A lot of love in the chat for tour guides. We love to see. We love to see the support for our teams, and we are going to see us going back to Cheeseland at the hands of the game's RNG. So,
okay,
that was a very, very exciting first war, I gotta say.
Yeah.
It's not the result I was expecting. I definitely knew going into this that anything could happen, but this is not what I had expected to see. I did not think that this was going to be a blowout for either team, but alas.
We're just going to see a fun little bagger to end off the first match of the best of 3.
Yeah.
And if tour guides can keep this momentum, man, this will be one of the upsets of MKC history, I'd say.
Definitely, for sure.
From what I hear, Rated R seems like a pretty dang good team. So
they have been very, very dominant. They have been very, very dominant. Have you heard of AX, gyrodos?
Not ringing a bell for me.
No? Okay, well, back in the early days of 8 Deluxe, back when 200cc Online had first started becoming a common thing, AX was the single de facto just best team in the world by far. And basically, the war lineup, like the Team World lineup back in those days, was just AX's top lineup.
That
Literally,
is crazy.
all of the best players in the world were playing for that team. And Rated R, once that team had disassembled, a lot of the members that were a part of AX had moved to Rated R. Darky was a part of it. A lot of the old school players like James were a part of it. They were even able to branch out into, the realm of the best 200 time trialers as well. Alberto and Super FX and Doodle were all part of that team as well. But,
okay,
yeah.
And even in the final race, we're seeing a shot coming out for TG that gives them, I'm guessing, top 2? I don't know if both the Roys are them, but I mean, huge win from tour guides. And I'm glad to cast this 200L event. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here for the next one, but it's been a good time.
I think you will. I don't think that we're going to have anybody for the game 2 match, but as I was saying earlier, absolutely incredible stuff to all of Tour Guys, but especially Euan putting up 128 points for his team. What a performance against one of the most dominant teams in the world. Just incredible stuff.
I
And
think the biggest thing, like the biggest comparison I can think of, is just World Friend from a couple of seasons ago, where they just
definitely,
dominated the scene in 150. Now
yeah,
it's a little bit mixed up, and people interchange which teams
yeah,
end up with the win, and it maybe Tour Guides can be in contention for one of those teams that start mixing it up, and
yeah,
Tour Guides with the huge win.
yeah. I
Uh,
know. And ever since early 2021, about a year ago, when the last 200L happened, everyone was thinking, I think it's about time that the 200L scene, the 200L realm becomes more diverse, because at that point AX and Rated R were just winning everything. But then a bunch of other teams started coming along, and Encore rose to prominence, quickly became one of the best teams in the world. Uprising that recently became the Tour Guides are now becoming uh, a very, very strong team, and a lot of the teams that were down in the lower divisions are definitely making their way up towards the top tier teams. Like, I want to give a huge shout out to NanaFam for bringing it all the way from an afterthought of Division 2 last year to now being in the Division 1 playoffs right now. So definitely huge improvements across the board from the entire community. So I think 200cc is absolutely in good hands right now, and uh, these two teams are definitely at the forefront of why I make that statement. So definitely
just
going to be very exciting to see what happens next.
Just one question before the break. Is there? I'm guessing there's another team in D1 playing for 200L semifinals. What's
Yes, yeah. The other match that's not going on at the moment is Encore versus NanaFam, and I can confirm that Encore did take game 1 from NanaFam. So we're
okay?
gonna see if maybe we can have the finals decided by the time the stream is over. But what matters now is that Tour Guides currently has the lead over Rated R 1-0, and in approximately 15 minutes, we're going to be coming back at you to see if they can either close this out or if R is going to come back with a vengeance. See you guys
All right.
there.
See ya.
All right. How is everybody doing? As we just saw, we just witnessed I don't know if I'd call it a big upset, because the Tour Guides have definitely been on the come up lately, but I know a lot of people were I know a lot of people were going into this expecting a victory from R. However, that is not what we saw in game 1, as the Tour Guides were able to take down the defending 200 League champions, well, Overdrive champions. They were able to take down the defending Overdrive champions in pretty dominating fashion. They were able to win by almost 100 points. But it is time for game 2. We're going to see if the adjustments necessary have been made by R, if any adjustments at all. And let's see, Gyrodos, how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first cast went pretty well, and I'm excited to do another one. Maybe Rated R can come back and make it a game 3 for the semifinals.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have to see.
Yeah, and shout out to Thomas for the raid. I don't know why. Like, Thomas, thank you for the raid. Getting quite a few new people into the stream, but I'm curious to see if he's actually going to be playing, because that would signal that he ended his stream, and I'm not sure if he's gonna be sticking around. I haven't heard anything
Oh, it looks like
otherwise.
okay. We see the lineups. Oh,
Yeah,
never
I
mind.
think that was the same. I think that was the same lineup card from before. It's
Oh no,
not
we got
okay. Yeah.
K4I and
Yep.
XNTS. Oh
All
wait, no,
right. So
XNTS was in the first match, but
yeah, XNTS was in the first one. They okay. I figured out what they did. They subbed out Thomas for Erickfree, and they subbed out Toshiki for K4I. So
and then
that
we
is
have
definitely
Kuzu
that's
coming in for was
Kuzu
it?
was playing last time. That's the same
Oh, he
lineup.
was. Okay. Yeah.
That is the same lineup. Okay, so yeah, we definitely do see some adjustments. Even in the lineup alone, we definitely see some adjustments. However, something interesting to note is that this rated R lineup does definitely have quite a few muted players. Obviously, all 6 of the people on that lineup, Darky, Erickfree, Varo, James, XNTS, K4I, all of them are absolutely incredible players in their own right, but the chemistry may be in a gray area because only about half of this team is actually going to be participating in the VC. We're going to see if that ends up being an issue, though, because, as we know, Rated R were able to take down Encore in the $200 Overdrive Finals with a similar lineup of not too much communication going on, just from sheer talent. We're going to see if they're able to replicate that performance right now, actually, as we're going to be getting into things rather quickly. Going to have a look at what the RUM is looking like.
I'm guessing K4I, being one of the best 150 players, is probably has the drive to do similar things in 200. So I'm excited to see what he can do for Rated R as well.
He's definitely a very talented 200cc player.
And since I have no opinion or what do you call it? Like, I have no one I'm rooting for. I've no one I'm rooting for. So I'm rooting for an exciting match 2 and potentially game 3.
I just hope both teams have fun, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah.
I don't. I mean, I know people on. Well, I mean, I know Tegan on tour guides, but that's basically it for me. So.
But yeah, I mean, hey, we are absolutely just like the first match. I think we're definitely going to be seeing something incredible here, whether it be Rated R coming back like we know that they're capable of, or tour guides solidifying the upset. No matter what the outcome is, I think this is absolutely going to be a spectacle to behold. And if we're able to get a look at how the RUM is doing in terms of gathering.
Do we know who's hosting for the second match?
I'm guessing I do not, but I do know that we are swapping out Thomas's POV for Erickfree's. So once that gets up and running, we're going to be able to get a look into his gameplay. He's been around in the 200 scene for a long, long time, and definitely one of its most talented and historic players.
Is Euan hosting because he has the A-OK button for him? Or am I?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
okay.
I do believe that it is Euan hosting. And we see 3, 6, 9, 11 people currently in the room. So
I'm wondering, is there any like specific things to know about like any of these players that okay, looks like we're getting the room started, but is there anything like
there's only 11 Euan, there's only 11 people in the room.
Oh no.
Euan?
Disaster.
Euan? Hey Euan, there's only 11 people in the room. What are you doing? Are they going into this with a 5v6 or what is happening? Why did Euan start the room with 11 players? Let me see if I can get some inside info. Okay, no.
What is going on?
I do not know.
Okay, I think he's closing the room. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they're closing the room. Okay.
I mean, he probably just miscounted and wasn't sure if he got in or not.
Probably just miscounted, wasn't sure. I don't think that's a penalty, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not too familiar with MKC's rules on the situation, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is a situation where Euan opens up the room again and then lets Rated R come in and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But I'm getting word from a TG member in the chat that Euan said that there were 12 members, but then there was one disconnect.
Okay.
So maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, maybe he started it when he saw 12, and then they DC'd right as he started. So.
Yeah, it appears as if Euan is letting R get 2 through 7.
Yeah, I hope for the sake of the game that there's not a penalty here, but
yeah, just for the sake of
I would also not be surprised. So
gonna get Erickfree's POV set up in the meantime. Love to see it. And okay, here comes everybody. So what I was trying to ask earlier, is there anything? Is there like
like how do you get out people from the front typically? Is there like do you just have to like spam like a bunch of items like fire boomerangs, all that stuff, or does it is there usually something like you have to trim up through cuts and try and get up in certain other ways? Like how would you break top pressing?
Yeah, that is definitely an interesting question, and it's definitely something that the meta is still developing around and trying to figure out, because as we know, 200cc is very much a lines-based game mode, but what we do also know is that it at times can definitely be quite laggy. So there will be players that use that to their advantage. There will be players that will typically be more trigger happy with their items than they would be in 150 per se. And while it's definitely not as textbook as it might be in 150, because that mode just kind of lays it out plain and simple as what you have to do, there are definitely still ways to
Break top
remove
presence.
people from the equation in this mode. It's just
It's a lot more difficult, I'm guessing.
it's more difficult, and it's more different as well. Like, some things that work on 150 may work on 200, but others might not.
And I'm guessing some like if you're close to people, you have to outline them a lot more than you would.
Yes, definitely.
And have to like take advantage of potential drafts.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if drafts really help in 200cc, to be honest, because from what I've seen, it doesn't look like they help too much. But we do get Mute City for the first race.
Yeah.
And from what I know so far, pretty big runner. So
yes, definitely a big runner. And we are going to be taking a nice little look at if maybe the tour guides can have a little bit of a better performance than they did the first time they played this track, because as we know, R was able to snag a snipe win.
Trailed out.
Unfortunately not very much of a good start, as one of their strongest runners, Euan, is getting absolutely handled back here. 2 reds right off the bat. And
he does pull a ghost, though.
Yeah, gonna be taking the shortcut. Ghost is a very good item in this scenario. Gonna be doing the safer and faster method of that shortcut.
So I'm guessing one bagger from each team looking for the shock there.
Yeah, that might actually be 2 TG baggers. I don't remember if that Mario was metal or gold, or just a Mario in general. Okay, it's metal. I do think that is.
And if the players transferred over, it looks like we have some tour guys members in the front. I'm not sure who the Rosalina is, but they're breaking away. I did see a gold Mario up there, but now Rosalina has broken away. So I'm guessing that's rated R if I had to guess, because there was a gold Mario up there as well, and now they've broken away.
Another thing, I was mentioning it last match, and then it actually happened in this match, is we're interested to see what Kai will do for rated R. We obviously have not seen him yet, but obviously we know his impact just as a player on the game. Euan unfortunately falling off at that shortcut there, getting an unfortunate drift lock going right instead of left. He's still going to be stacking a solid spot, probably 6th or 5th. Yeah, 5th. But we're going to have to see what that front looks like, because we never really got a good look at it. It's going to be K4I in first, so there's his impact right away.
7, 10, 12 for tour guides. Not the best race coming out for them, but
it's going to be a slight loss.
Getting first for rated R, and getting a strong starting out for rated R.
It's going to be a slight loss for the tour guides here, but as we know, especially considering what they were able to pull off in the first match, we saw rated R get out to a pretty hefty lead early on of nearly 50 points, and then and then tour guides were able to take that and turn it into a plus 100 in their favor by the end of the war. So we obviously know it can be done. It's just a question of, can they replicate that performance, and will R let them replicate that performance, or have they made the adjustments necessary in their players and their mindset and their communications?
So I'm wondering, do tracks matter a whole lot in 200cc? Because I know
absolutely.
Because it just looks like a lot at the beginning that there's just chaos and stuff, and it looks like it comes down to what happens at the beginning a lot of the times to get a handle on who's in the front and who's in the back. I'm not too sure if the track picks are a huge factor, as huge of a factor in 200 as they are in 150, but we do see Music Park coming out. I think that was a rated R pick, and now
yes, it was.
So now We're gonna see maybe K4I keeping the run going on Rosa Scooty, it looks like. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to see what happens in these first couple of turns to see what shakes out. Okay, we do see a member of Tour Guides burning out.
Yeah.
So that looks like a top 3 potentially for rated R, just
Yeah.
off the bat.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see how the players handle this section come up. As we know, it's quite laggy in 150, even more so in 200. And everyone seems to get through it just fine. Everyone going to be going to the glider, as that is better in 200 than just going down and getting tricks from the music note bounces. Euan is going to be sitting kind of in the middle of the pack here, unfortunately getting bummed, and is also unfortunately very broke at the moment. He's going to have to be doing some work to make his way up there. And hopefully, we're going to be able to get Erickfree's POV up and running very, very soon. And if you'd like to swap over that right now, Nino. Okay.
So we got Euan in the back, Erickfree taking the blue, but it doesn't look like they have a...
Yeah, K4 is in first. K4 has a massive break right now. It's going to be a
top
top
4.
Okay,
I can't see.
Now reduced to a top
And a
3
big
thanks to
fire.
that fire from Sky the Kid.
Top 3,
However,
7.
a lot of very good top spots for rated R at the moment. They are looking to
There
snatch
might
the
be a
momentum
shock
right
and
from
play
this guy's
because
hands.
Erickfree did... Okay, he gets a star.
Yeah, I'm going to be holding this.
Okay,
until-
he's gonna get the last part of the track.
Yeah,
Not
unfortunately,
gonna get a dodge,
for
though.
him, El Paco in that bill is going to be taking those doubles that he definitely wanted. And that still looks like a very good race for R. I do believe that that was like a top 2 for them.
I think the Gold Mario... Okay, so top 2, 4...
That's very good. That's like a plus
6,
20. Top 2,
7. That is
11. That is
huge for
quite the
rated
race
R.
for them.
They can't push out this time. We just win.
Yeah, but still out.
K4 holding down first again, so
Yeah,
definitely putting in the work for them.
Keep going.
A great sub in for rated R.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna see what they bust out for this next track.
Ice Ice?
You
Okay.
told me that R-dubs was a sort of mixed track because of all the bumps.
Yeah, that's not that. Like, if there's any team that is going to be picking that for top spots, it's going to be rated R because they have a lot of members that are comfortable driving it. But it does not look like they're going to be doing that at the moment. They're going to be
Ice
settling
Ice
for Ice Ice Outpost.
I'm guessing this
Yeah,
is a
that was
pretty
actually
big
huge.
runner as well because
He
of
was gone for
the
me.
cuts are like pretty hard on 200cc, right?
Yes, they are slightly different. The way the Nisk is done differently, in 200 we do what's called the ice bounce, and because of the amount of speed you have, first of all, the second half of the Nisk is completely irrelevant and nobody does it. First of all, since you have so much speed, you're flying over the second ramp on the first part anyways, so what you want to do is get an MT, hop on to the first patch of ice, get a trick, and then do a bounce off of an icicle hanging from the ceiling in order to do the
Wait,
shortcut
people
off the
actually
lane.
do that online? That's crazy. Okay.
Some people do it online.
That is...
It's not very common, but it is done online. It obviously is done in time trials and world record runs. We're gonna
Yeah, I've seen that in
see
world
if
record.
maybe somebody decides to go for it. Maybe Euan will be the one to do so.
Has a lot of space to do it. Ends up not going for it. Goes for a box instead.
Yeah, goes for the safe pick, which I agree with. He's also switched to Link for the, you know, the
Looks like we
extra traction
sneaking up
stat.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, getting a trail off on Darky. Now we see
Yeah.
a top 2, 4 from Tour Guides. This could be huge. And we see triple nanas coming out for oh, and he backs Varro. Now a top 3 for Tour Guides. Has
Yeah.
fire as well
I
to take
believe
out
it's
anyone.
Sky the
coming up.
Kid is in fact in 4th place, so they're looking to do exactly what they did in the first war, where they say, "Hey, rated R, yeah, that's a great start for you guys, but you know we're still here too."
It looks
Let's-
like we're gonna have to see a
Still
shot
holding
come
down
out
the,
from
still
Rated
holding
R.
down the top 4, but there definitely are people in the back that could change that with a funny little lightning bolt. I'm gonna see if that ends up being a factor or not. There is no blue
Right.
shell. Yeah, at this point, blue is a non-factor. Blooper is a factor, though. We're gonna see if people can maybe
Hey,
take
I
advantage
just
of
have
that.
Shrim to get rid of the blooper, but
Yeah,
Euan
we
does
do
have to.
see
Oh,
people
he's
stuck
just
behind Euan, and he's gonna be able to evade them. That's gonna be a top
Very
3
good
5
evasion.
for the tour guides. Not quite the top 4, but absolutely the best thing
yeah.
they could have gotten
If
besides
Euan
that.
gets out there, that's not nearly as big of a race as it.
And
as
they
it
are
was.
going to be taking the lead.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, this just goes to show how important the beginning of the track is, because at the beginning there, Tour Guys just managed to get all the top spots, and as soon as they got the top 2-4, second was able to trail out, or not trail out, but back the guy in third, and now we see Tour Guides with a huge race and taking over the lead. And if they can keep this momentum, they will pull off one of the biggest upsets we've seen in 200 League. So I'm wondering, we see now Moo Moo Meadows coming out. So I'm guessing DP3 is one of those tracks where we saw it in the last match, but I'm still unsure what kind of a track that is. I'm wondering if it's more like a.
I'm still unsure what kind of
a.
I'm still unsure what kind of a track it is myself, and I play 200 on a very regular basis. Unfortunately,
I'm not alone.
Yeah, we were struggling a tiny bit to get these scores figured out, but what we do now know is that the Music Park race was completely offset by the Ice Outpost race. They were both plus 22s in favor of each respective team. So right now the point differential still sits at a +4 for rated R.
Eric is going to be bagging here.
Yeah, and so is Euan. We're going to be taking a look in
maybe planning to play more mids for rated R?
Potentially.
Sure.
And that could definitely work for them. We have XNTS in first. I'm pretty sure he's still the only pink gold peach. So he's definitely going to be wanting to hold it down. DP3, a very, very common lounge track, and XNTS, being the rank 1 player in lounge, this is...
it looks like at least a 1-3 for rated R, and maybe even 1-3-4.
An unfortunate bill pull for Euan here.
But if they have all the top spots right now, they might just not need a shock. So, we do see a lot of rated R in the mid spots as well.
Yeah, Euan is going to be making his way up the pack with a star and a golden. That's going to be very good for him, especially the star. Golden, not so much, but it still helps in this ending section that's coming up. And Euan's going to be making his way up into, I believe, third. Yeah, that's going to be a 2-3. Maybe 1-3, probably 2-3 for the tour guides. Looks like very even in the front. It's going to come down to what happened in the back. It's going to be a 2-3-4-5.
Wow, able to mitigate.
It's a 2-3-4-5, but it's unfortunately a bottom 2 for the tour guides. So that's quite the interesting race. I think that's pretty much, if not even.
What it looks like from what I've seen so far, a lot of the times how you break top presence is you get in there with the Odgers, with shrooms, because those are very powerful items because you can just mow through the pack and not have to worry about anything.
Right.
So I think we're gonna see. Okay, I think.
Yep.
Okay, Dolphin Shoals.
This is exactly what you would expect both teams to pick here. We have, the classic drafter and Dolphin Shoals for getting 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have TTC for only first, and the rest of the people behind that can, pull shrooms, do the clock hop, and catch up. What we do know now is that DP3 race was a +2 in the favor of the tour guides. So once the scores update on screen, they're going to be reverted to a +2 in the favor of rated R. Still absolutely neck and neck after one Grand Prix has been played.
Okay, Euan try to go for the fast lines. They're going for the wide coins, actually.
When he trails out, someone. Not quite sure who that was.
Ooh, Sky being close to him. Looks like he did avoid him.
Yep.
Okay, but
we see
able to snipe out Darky in first.
Maybe getting the snipe off? Yeah, no, definitely getting the snipe off.
Sky now has a huge breakaway for tour guys, and that's going to be huge.
Very solid breakaway. Darky in second, though, is definitely going to have something to say about that, and so is that villager, who I believe is a member of Rated R. Probably James, if I had to make a guess. Euan's going to be popping the star very, very early. Going to be pulling out triple reds, and it's going to be only Rated R members in front of him, so that's very, very good.
Okay, I'm guessing that's a tour guy's
dropped down to second, and unfortunately that last red skipped Darky and is going to be going for Sky.
Looks like he's outrunning the blue shell so far. Okay, but it does take the cut that no one else can take.
You can't outrun the blue on that turn. And unfortunately for you, he's going to be kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Okay, I know Sky the Kid is up there, but the Roy might be rated R in first. So we're gonna have to. Ooh, one of the Roys. Okay, that's just lag. Never mind.
That was lag. And Euan's going to be getting this bill out here. Not going to quite get the full extension, but still a very solid bill. He's going to only be passing rated R. They're about to be in bottom 3, which is...
does not look good. Looks like the bottom 4 almost.
We still don't know what the top spots look like. I do think that Waluigi is a rated R member. I think Euan is the only Waluigi representing
looks like Keegan or Euan getting second.
Yeah, that's going to be a bottom 3 for rated R no matter what.
Top
Actually,
2, 4, 5 for
Yeah,
for
top
tour
2, 4,
guides.
5. Kuzu holding down the back, making sure there's no funny business back there. So it's gonna be
The
that's
tour
gonna be
guides
what
are
they're looking for,
pulling
yeah.
up, and
Yeah.
they are not. They don't have any fear.
Yeah.
They're just
going to be
running through.
Absolutely fearless, and they're going to be taking the lead. Not by quite as much of a margin as they may hope to have the lead. However, it is still very early on in the war, so
against a team like Rated R, this is absolutely ideal, I would say. It's just a question of, can they ride this momentum? Will Rated R have anything to say about that? Because Tour Guys is playing the best that they have ever played. I have seen this team play in scrims. I've seen this team play in a couple of 200 league matches. This is the best that they have ever played, and
they are absolutely putting on a show for the almost 150 people watching. Thank you guys for coming out. But we've still got over half of the second war to play, so we're gonna see what happens. It's gonna be a random GBA Mario circuit.
So I'm guessing this is a bagger as well because of all the cuts. But since it's so much shorter, I don't think we're gonna see too many baggers if I had to guess.
Yeah, people do bag on this track, but however, this track is definitely still much more run heavy on 200 just because of the fact that it is literally 1 minute long.
Okay, we do see at least 2 baggers coming out. Oh, we do. Okay, a lot of people going for coins, just like in 150 as well. And Erickfree taking over first looks like I'm guessing. Okay, that this guy in second. We see. Okay, he's gonna trail out a tour guides member, and he's starting to break away. Now top 2 for Rated R.
Yeah.
This is good. This is huge.
This is a good start for them. However, as we know, as much as this might be a running track more so than it is on 150, there is definitely still a possibility for shock. And with how far in last place Kuzu is, I think it's becoming more and more likely by the second that it's going to happen.
Oh no, Erickfree making a
messing
mistake.
up his lines. However, he does not have the support of Varo to hold down first place for him. Sky the Kid making his way into second, and Erickfree unfortunately landing a trail on his own mate. But we're gonna be
you see
having
1,
a
3,
look at how the
4
end of this race
Rated R
pans out.
though. Euan coming up with shrooms. Oh, and there's a blue shell, but it looks like Sky the Kid taking over first for the tour guides, and that's a huge momentum stopper for tour guides because it did look like it was almost a race-ending top 2 there for Rated R.
And while that is important for them, like
I was about to mention, I saw a lot of tour guides members in the back, and that is turning out to be the truth. As Rated R were able to take home a 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is right back in their reach. It is very, very close right now because that's definitely a winning race in their favor.
Very good first coming out for Sky the Kid though, because if they had top 4 there, that was surely one of the races that could have brought Rated R into the into basically almost winning territory for them, because that is hard to break in 200, I would imagine.
And and like I said, not quite in the lead yet, but absolutely still in reach for both teams. At the halfway point, we are seeing a 6-point deficit. The tour guides lead 249 to 243, and it is absolutely neck and neck. It has been for this whole time, gyrodos.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a tight match because it was like last time, but I don't know if anyone's gonna break away like the tour guides did in game 1.
Yeah.
You see Wario Stadium coming out though, and I'm guessing.
Yeah, this was definitely R's pick, and we're probably going to see what I was mentioning come into play here. As first starting on the very right, not much of a factor for 150 because you have plenty of time to bring yourself back over. But as we see right there, he's already been bumped out.
The bumps are already coming out, and it looks like Rated R have a top 2, but tour guides do have 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. And
very
chaotic.
They trail each other's trails.
They trail each other's
trails. Still top 2 for Rated R.
Yep, still a top 2 for Rated R.
Okay.
Euan unfortunately missing the set, but is going to be running out Erickfree.
Okay.
Darky is still going to be in first thanks to that shroom, and that
That's
boomerang
huge
is huge
boomerang
for A4I.
Top 3 for Rated R.
Yeah.
And now we have to see a big comeback coming out for tour guides if they want to try and break these top spots. Euan end up into the wall.
Yeah, unfortunately getting bumped by the entire pack, even from characters that he is twice as heavy as, but not much you can do when you're only holding a bomb and not quite at full coins yet.
We're going to have a lot of mid
Alpaca's
spots,
going to be taking his box, but he's still going to be landing. Actually, no, that's a terrible
Triple
pull.
greens
in 10.
in 9 somehow.
Yeah, he probably. I think he hit the box in 8.
Yeah, it must have.
Triple Shroom's not really going to be doing much for him, and we do see Kuzu, Alpaco, and Euan up here in these not so ideal spots. Erickfree
Might be a top
however,
4 for rated R, actually.
Yeah, it looks like it might even be a top 5. We see XNCS.
Oh, a
that's going to be a
huge
shock. I don't know if it's going to do much for them, though.
Double
The
shock
second
coming
shock
out
is going to
for-
be huge, though.
Tour Guys. And Tegan might have been able to get first there. Maybe a top 2 for Tour Guys. That is
I don't
huge for
quite
Tour
think
Guys.
so, but pulling 2 shocks there was absolutely the best thing they could have done.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's still going to be
I
a
thought-
1, 3, 4,
oh,
5,
yeah.
but that would have been a top 5. Without those 2 shocks, that's a top 5. I would
Yeah.
much rather, if I was a member or a
It's a
fan
huge
of Tour
second,
Guys, I
though.
would much rather watch the other team get those spots than the potential top 5 they did. Unfortunately, they're still going to be getting a bottom 4, but that's second place from Tegan. I think
Yeah,
it was Tegan.
That was
is-
Alpaco, I'm pretty sure.
It was Alpaco. It was a second place from someone, and that's going to mitigate the damage, and that's what's important at this stage of the war. Rated R is
Yeah.
going to absolutely be taking the lead. They're going to be getting like a plus 20 something race there probably.
And it's
However,
still a ginormous race for rated R, but the double shock is very unfortunate for them, and now they have to contend with
Yeah.
at least a body up there, which is very important, I'm guessing, in 200cc.
yeah,
Because a top 5 there would have been just, especially if it wasn't dry, if it was like a TikTok clock for them, that would have been very rough for Tour Guides trying to break. But we do see
Yeah.
dry coming out, a Tour Guides pick, and now we're gonna have to see if what comes out here. Will there be another double shock on Dry Desert? Maybe more likely on this track, but we'll see.
yes, we will. And Francisco in the chat, you are correct. That will in fact be a plus 24 in the favor of Rated R, and they are going to be in the lead with 16 points with 1 Grand Prix left to play. Actually, no, I lied. 5 races, not 4. However,
Okay, we do see one from each team running. I do think that's Varo and Alpaco in the top 2 spots. Okay, it looks like we see Tour Guides taking over first, but again, it's gonna matter a lot what happens in the bottom spots. We do see Euan getting a start in 5th place,
most
which is gonna
definitely
be huge
most
for
definitely a
him.
sign of the shock being in play. It has been 30 seconds, so
was
that does
out.
make sense. And from that distance, actually no, pulling a star from that distance seems about normal. A lucky pull, but nothing that is, okay, there's a shock in play. However,
looks like
a dodge in second place for Euan looks like it's definitely at the hands of a Tour Guide shock. And Euan's gonna have 4
quad
in first place.
Stroops? No way.
What a pull. Absolutely what a pull from
I
Euan.
mean, this
No,
looks
that-
like a
no,
guaranteed
that's a sign of
first for him.
no, that's a sign of a shock being in play because he was only like half the Oasis behind Alpaco there, and he was still able to pull 4 mushrooms. That's an incredible pull. Gonna use 2 of them to get through that shortcut
Looks
there.
like at least
and
a top 2 for Tour Guides for the
Yep.
moment, but stars are
Yep.
coming up for the other team.
They're
And
not gonna quite make much of a difference, and that blooper is gonna be a non-factor. Euan is gonna shroom it away through the shortcut, and he's gonna land first place.
I'm
second
pretty sure the
place-
Luigi is.
The Luigi isn't our member. I think
Okay,
he got
yeah.
booed after the line, so they got second. But that's definitely a 1-3. Oh,
Oh, top 2-4 for Tour Guides.
yeah, I was wrong once again with my characters. If it comes to characters, just don't listen to me. Listen to gyrodos. He's better at identifying who's on what in this scenario for sure. But
Yeah, I
that is
thought-
absolutely the race.
Tour Guides
that
did
Tour
get
Guides was
blued
looking
on the
for.
line though, so that
to
could have
take
been a
back
top
momentum.
3 instead of a top 2-4. But
Either way, still a very good race.
yes, that is true. It looks like Tour Guides almost evening it up, or only down 2. This is anybody's game at this point.
Yep. And now,
This time I'm right when I say there is 1 GP left to play. So
And big blue pick. We did see it in the first match, but it did not get
it
picked,
did not get
unfortunately.
chosen. What
I'm
we did see
excited
in the
to
first match
see-
was Royal Raceway, and I believe that was the race that the Tour Guide solidified their win on, if I'm not wrong, in the first war, right?
Yes, I do believe that is the case. Tour Guides did take it, on race 11, but now we're gonna see. Is it Big Blue? No, it is Royal Raceway.
It
Okay.
is Royal Raceway, and as we just discussed, this was definitely a track in the favor of the tour guides last war around. However, we know that Rated R's obviously been playing better this war than they were in the last one. They've made the adjustments necessary. Let's see if they can adjust to Royal Raceway to possibly get themselves a win on this track.
Yeah, I'm guessing, just like last time, there's going to be a couple of baggers, but, you know, top presence is still going to matter quite a bit. And we do see only 2 baggers this time. And it looks like Euan is going to keep the top presence up here. And top 2 at least, top 3 for tour guides.
Yeah.
And we do see Erickfree getting hit out
we
as
unfortunately
well.
see him getting hit out by something.
Okay, we do see some people
XNTS
take
also
cuts. We see
being-
2 Waluigi's in top 2, which I'm pretty sure those are Rated R members.
No, we just saw TG in top 3, and I don't think that there's anything that could happen except for maybe a couple of shrooms that could stop that from
Erickfree
happening.
falling off the track.
Unfortunately, a fallout from Erickfree. He's going to be holding a single shroom in 8th, and unfortunately with only 1 coin to his name.
I do believe Sky the Kid and Tegan are in 3-4 right now, but who are in those top 2 spots? We're going to have to find out. Okay, it looks like, pulling triple green.
Trail on XNTS,
okay.
which is his mate, so that's bad.
Yeah.
Going to be
going in there. Dodge maybe?
Yep.
No golden triple shrooms. That is very unfortunate.
Still
and
only holding 4 coins for Erickfree. Going to be struggling.
Even getting redded out as well. And I think that's a lot of top spots for Rated R as of now. Sky the Kid is in 2nd, but that Waluigi is going to be the deciding factor. Who is that? Because right now it doesn't look like there's any shock in play unless it's pulled this last set.
This is terrible for you, and that is an R member in last. And unless they have shock after Bill, I believe that's James. Unless he has shock after Bill, yeah, even then it's not going to be a factor. That's going to be a bottom. That's going to be a lot of bottom spots for R. We're going to see what the top looks like.
It was K4I in the top spot.
It's going to be
but
a 2, 3, 4,
that was 2, 3, 4, 6 for tour guides. Yeah, they did have those top spots. But it does look like now the tour guides were able to break that and get a huge momentum breaker.
Obviously, you know, first place is absolutely massive. K4I absolutely putting in the work that he needed to do to put Rated R back in the conversation. However, we do see the +2 being flipped in the favor of Rated R over to the favor of tour guides. Things are starting to heat up as we enter race 10. The lead has been shifted over for the first time in a while. And with only 3 races to play, we're going to be seeing it on either Mario Circuit or DK Jungle.
Yeah, I'm guessing DK Jungle is another one of those runners, just like in 150, because Rated R is picking it. So, and MC, another one of those tracks where we're going to see a couple of baggers, I'm guessing, as well. And, you know, we're getting a lot of mixed racing tracks, and that is going to be what happens during the races is going to be the deciding factor, not the tracks itself, because now we see a 2, 3, 4, 6 for tour guides, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter too much because of the baggy nature of this track.
Yeah, I think that this is one of the best tracks that the tour guides could have picked here. As we know for both of these 2 wars, they have been very, very controlling of the shock. They have pulled the majority of them, they have used the majority of them, and they have used a lot of them well, very well. And the shock can definitely do some work on this track. So we're going to see if they're going to be able to take advantage of that. Or they're just going to
1-3 for tour guides, but Erickfree does shroom up, and now they have a 2-3. Red does skip him, and okay, he does get hit now at top 1-3, I believe, for on the side of Rated R.
It will be a top 2.
Top
XNTS.
2.
Yeah,
okay.
XNTS in 2nd, Ethan
top
in
2,
3rd.
4 as well.
So yeah, somewhat mixed spots in the
blue shell though coming out for Euan. Yeah. That's gonna be huge for tour guides. Now they just need a shock to really bring themselves back into it. And we see a star coming out for Kid, and he does pull it. And I'm guessing this is going to be seen very soon. Oh, but he gets shocked with shock in hand. And now we're going to see. I think that is a Rated R member going into first.
That is most definitely a Rated R shock.
And it looks like a top 3 perhaps, or maybe a 1-3. I'm pretty sure one of those Roys is Sky the Kid. But we do see the shot coming out, and now that is going to be... Oh, and Euan is unfortunately...
It's a lot of bottom spots. XNTS in last, but there is a lot of bottom spots for the tour guides right now. Once again, we don't know what the front quite looks like, but...
Tegan did get up there.
Assume that a lot of our people are going to be up there. I am correct. It's going to be
Top
a top
2,
2,
5, 6
5,
to rated
6,
R.
7.
That was huge for them. Euan pulled shock, and it looked like one of their members spotted that and wanted to use it instantly to try and mitigate that shock, and they did so very well with the top 2 as well.
Yes, that is going to be a very, very important race for
And
Rated
again,
R. And
shifting the momentum into their favor now,
yeah,
and
they're
it's
going
just
to-
been back and forth.
They're
this
going straight into
entire
Moo Meadows.
war.
They want this wrapped up now.
Yeah, they don't want
like I said,
to
Moo Meadows,
mess around.
like I said, Moomoo's the most dominant and the most prominent front runner in the 200cc metagame. We're going to see if they're going to be able to take advantage of that here. They are.
They do get it. So
So
if they can
they're-
keep their top presence here, this is huge and
yeah, this is
potentially
huge and potentially over.
yeah.
However, even if they are able to wrap up the even if they are able to wrap up a good race on Moo Meadows and ride that momentum to a win in Game 2, there is still a Game 3 to be played. And tour guides have proven that they absolutely have the potential to take that as they did in Game 1. However, it's down to what happens in this Moo Meadows race.
Ooh, those nanas looked at like it only took out tour guides, and Darky ends up keeping first for rated R, top 2 for them.
I think
now,
that Nana took out an R member because the Black Yoshi's James.
Oh, okay. So it was a top 3, but now it's only a top 2 for them. And we see a lot of rated R members in the front, at least a top 2, 5, 6 for them. And this is huge because I trust Awoken. I think this is going to be a pretty big runner for them. And now we see, I think, only 3, 4, 5 for tour guides. And if
huge bomb snipe, bro!
Ooh.
We saw that on the map. There was a huge bomb snipe that took out
Now
both of the
2
top
through 4.
spots for Rated R. Now tour guides are controlling the front. They have a top 3 at the moment.
That's
Potentially even more. We're going to see how the end of this race turns out, but there are a lot of Rated R members back here, some TG2, but that is going to be a top 3 for Rated R. That is top 3 for the tour guides. That is huge. On a track like Moo Meadows, wow.
It looked like that was almost wrapped up for Rated R, but that bomb snipe ended up getting to the top 3, 6, 7,
10. They are going to be taking the lead back. They are absolutely going to be taking the lead back.
I think that bomb snipe took out 2 Rated R members.
It took out
in
both
one
of the top
snipe.
2 members. That took out both of the top 2. That was an incredible bomb. Whoever threw that bomb, yo mom's
MVP.
a hoe.
I mean,
just kidding. We may going into the last race, we have a 8-point lead for the African Lion Safari Tour Guides. We're gonna see if they're gonna be able to wrap this up.
I mean, that's just incredible coming out for tour guides. Now we're gonna see a baby park potentially. I mean, Rated R look like they're getting pretty desperate. They need this win right now, and they cannot afford another bad race because that will lose them the war. Last race,
they once again
down
believe that
8.
Baby Park is going to be the track to do it. K4I disagrees, and I'm going to be honest, I do too.
Okay,
Big
Blue's coming out.
We are going to see Big Blue.
So we didn't see this come out last time.
Yeah, they have the 8-point lead, they have the momentum, they have the track pick, but what Rated R has is that down 10 mindset, and they know that if any point is the time to give up, they absolutely cannot.
And I mean, I'm not quite sure what this track does on 200, but I guess I'm just going to have to witness for myself. And I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of chaos in this beginning part. Ends up not going for the coins, but does get lag trailed out.
Yeah, does get trailed out for it. Potentially a draft or a shroom or something happened there. But Erickfree not having an ideal start. And it's going to be up to what happens in this, especially in this mid-pack. This mid-pack is all jammed together, and it's looking insane right now.
Okay, we do see at least...
happens at the Ultra Shortcut. Let's have a look.
Okay, it looks like a lot of Tour Guys members in the mid spots. I'm not sure who the Roy is. Okay, Sky the Kid is back here, so that is a Rated R member in first, and it looks like at least a top 2 for them.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Top 2, 4, 5 now for Rated R.
Yeah.
Not looking good for the Tour Guides. They have to bring it back in these last couple of sets. Top 4 now for Rated R. Will they be able to keep it up and take the win? And Tour Guides has to pull out something huge for them. 2 shrooms for Erickfree. Shrooms up. And now he has to take this final cut. Rated R taking the match. Game 2 goes in the favor of Rated R. Huge top 4 for them, and now they will be able to make it a game 3. And my goodness, that was a crazy race. Just Rated R getting the top spots in the beginning, and that was game over at that point, because no shock, no blue, nothing in the favor of Tour Guides came in that final race. And we're gonna see a game 3 now.
Yeah.
And Tour Guides, that's just a brutal loss for them, and now they have to take it in stride for this game 3 if they wanna win.
Yeah, and I know both of these teams really want this, and this has the potential to change the course of 200cc history. No matter what happens, either R continues their streak of dominance, or we see it end at a tied for third place here in this 200L playoff. But
yeah,
I'm
glad.
That was just like the first war. That was absolutely incredible to watch, and
I'm glad to have cast both of these matches. They were so exciting, especially that last race. That was just incredible comeback from Rated R. And I believe I am heading out for someone who's a little bit more experienced in the 200 scene. But I'm glad to have casted these first 2 matches. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what happens in game 3.
Yeah, it's been incredible. And another thing that I do want to note is that on the other side of the Division 1 bracket, Encore has wrapped up their 2-0 against Nanofam, and they will be waiting in the finals for whichever one of these teams takes game 3. So half of our finals have already been set, and Encore is going to be waiting and watching this match, most definitely, to see what happens next.
And I'm sure that Rated R is feeling it right now, because that top 4 for them in that final race just that secured their win, and this is going to be a very interesting match to watch, because I'm not too sure about the mentals of both these teams, but it cannot help that you just had the lead for a match, and it was going back and forth, and in the end you ended up getting top 4'd and completely destroyed in the last race. But we do see that Tour Guides is capable of keeping up with Rated R, and if they can pull off the upset here, that will be huge for the 200cc scene. And I can imagine, Rated R being the villains they are in this match, they're not going to let up. And
Absolutely not.
we're gonna take a break here before game 3, but I'm going to leave it to Alex and Awoken in the final match, and I'll have to see you guys in another time, but I'll see you guys later.
All right, see you then. Well, would you look at what we have here, ladies and gentlemen? It is time for one of the most, if not the most exciting match to be seen in 200cc in a long time, if not ever. We just watched the Tour Guides come back from a -8 deficit on race 12, walk away with a top 4 on Big Blue to be able to bring home the second match after going down in the first one to the African Lion Safari Tour Guides. We are looking at one of the most legendary teams in the history of 200cc and Rated R, who's won championship after championship against the up and coming Tour Guides, and it is proving to be just as incredible as of a battle as everybody had hoped. And at the moment, I am currently waiting on my co-caster signal. Once they are ready to go, then that will be great. I would like to imagine that both teams are going to be sticking to their same lineups for this war, because we've seen both of them be able to work just as well. And just from a quick look, that seems everything to be actually no. There is a change being made. We do see Red. They are going to be coming in the spot of they're going to be coming in the spot of, I'm actually not sure who Red is subbing in. I want to say it's Ethan. It's Ethan is who Red is going to be taking over for. And We're going to see if they are going to be able to make a difference here in this Game 3 situation. So, as we wait for Signal to get ready, and as we wait for the room to gather, if we could get a look at that, Nino. And okay, I am noticing another thing that changed. Thank you to the production team because I missed it as well. We do see Yoshi Racer coming in for James, who was also dropped from the previous lineup. So that we're going to see if that makes a difference. It's an interesting swap in my opinion because we saw James put in the work that he needed to bring home that second war. We're going to find out if that's going to end up making a difference. And I mean, not really much else to say other than I'd be surprised if this wasn't as incredible of a war as the first two were. This war has a lot of expectations to live up to if the first two are anything to go off of, because both of them were absolutely incredible matches to cast and absolutely incredible matches to watch. So this war is going to have to be something special if it wants to live up to what we saw in the first two matches. And all right, I think we are almost set up as soon as Signal is able to start talking for us here. Just need a little bit more. Shut up, Mana. Just need a little bit more preparation, and we are almost ready. The room is looking to have 9 people in it at the moment. But, things are looking to... More people are coming into the room. We have about, I think it was 11 people at that point. It was 10 or 11. But hey, like I said, there's only one way to find out how this is going to turn out for both teams. And once we can get a little bit of a help from once we can get a little bit of a help from a server admin to server deafen Signal on their alt. Okay, there we go. We should be up and running, and once they unmute, then I will finally have a co-caster. You wanna...
Hello?
There you are. Hey, there we go.
Hi.
All right.
Right. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Oh, don't worry about that. We have not even started yet. We are going into the third match of these. I'm assuming you were watching the... Actually, no, you were playing.
I was playing in the first two matches.
You were
was
playing
busy
in the
in
first two,
E2.
and yeah, your team was able to advance on to the final, so congrats to you.
Thank you very much. Were you casting both of these first two
Yes.
matches, or did you... Okay.
I have been casting the entire time, and let me tell you, you have missed 2 incredible matches. As much as I don't want to make jealous, we've seen something incredible these first 2 matches, and I can't wait to see if the third one lives up to what the first 2 saw.
I mean, obviously, like, these two teams... Obviously, since they've taken it to a third match, that just goes to show how little there kind of is between them.
Yeah.
So, theoretically at least, this match... Like, I would be very surprised if there was even more than a plus 50 difference for either team. And even then, that's a stretch. It's going to go down to the last race. It's going to be... I feel like not necessarily back and forth, but there's not going to be that much in it in terms of differential throughout the war.
For sure. I will tell you, since you weren't able to watch, I will tell you that Rated R got out to an early lead in the first match, but the tour guides were able to bring it back and end up winning by almost 100 in match 1. The second
Okay.
match, however, it was much more back and forth. Rated R did get out to that early lead, but then it ended up flipping back and forth so many times until eventually Rated R came out with a very narrow victory thanks to a top 4 on race 12.
I was about to say, I heard about that top 4 last race. That must have been crazy to witness.
Yeah, it definitely was. But as we enter the third and final match of these semifinals, we are looking at Wario's Goldmine to start us off. Euan up here in second, holding it down for tour guide. Sky the Kid in third. Euan unfortunately itemless and not holding on to too many coins.
This trail from XNTS could be crucial for Euan if he's not able to avoid it.
Yeah, not even quite sure where XNTS is at the moment. And Euan's going to have a trail of his own right now, assuming that Sky fell out of third place, considering Euan's Insta trail right there.
Ooh,
and yeah, we're
the
going to
back
see.
comes off.
Yeah, we're going to see a top 3. I think Alpaco in 4th. But a lot of top spots from Rated R to start off early on. And it's looking like we might end up... I think it's in tour guide's best interest to go for Shaw, considering how good of an opening to this race R has had. However, K4I is in last. So,
Yeah, it's
that's
looking
going to be
like
interesting to look at. He's not using many items.
it's almost
which
entirely
is
Rated
another-
R in the top spots.
Yeah. Erickfree
Ghost
popping
comes
that
in.
Ghost, and he's going to be stealing
Oh,
a...
a star and a
Correct.
boomerang. That is a very nice set of items to have,
Yeah.
both for offense and defense at this stage.
Yeah. Unfortunately, everyone in front of him seems to be an R member, so he's not really going to get much mileage out of
Ooh,
that. Nearly falling off there, but he is going to be able to use these last few shrooms to maybe take a couple of spots, and
Sky
that's a
gets taken
very...
out.
That looks like a very, very good opening for Rated R.
You know, I respect players. Yes,
Oh!
that's a top 6. Nice one.
There's
Oh
no way.
my!
Well, would you
So-
look at that?
I mean,
That's one way to start.
I was
That
going to
is-
commend.
Absolutely
Eric.
one way to start.
You know, it's not often that you see players who like choose to like that's what separates a good player from like a top player, knowing when not to do something. Because in that situation, Eric could have just gone crazy and spammed his ass at I think it was Sky who was ahead of him from Tall Guys. Could have gone way out of his way to try and just gain one spot, potentially at the detriment of his teammates. But just kind of let things happen. They're already in a good spot. I don't know what hit Sky at the end, but just got taken out by something on literally the last turn.
Probably just some back.
It was
Yeah.
I didn't see the item, so it was likely a back.
Yeah.
That's really well coordinated between Rated R.
Yeah, and that's going to be quite obviously the best start that they could have asked for. However, this is the best thing that TG could have asked for in this situation. They're going to be going to Desert to hopefully respond to that top 6 that we just witnessed. We're going to see what the running and bagging looks like. It looks as if XNTS
is running, and everyone else, obviously we were doing literally the same thing in Encore. Like, one person runs on this track, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
Because having any more than one person per team honestly gets a little too crowded, and it's just unnecessary when you want dodges. You're not going to win without dodges.
Yeah, of course. And, it's lap 1 of Dry Desert, so there's not really much to be said. I believe that is Alpaco with that massive break in first, because I think...
Yeah, it looks like
Alpaco has been sticking to Gold Mario for the entirety of these 2 wars. I think that's a shock in Red's hand. I might have missaw that, but I thought that might have been something shiny and golden.
Couldn't quite tell. We see Euan going in a star, so here we'll see... Yeah, that's likely a TG shock. Dodging...
Yep, and I believe I was right about Red. We are going to see Yoshi Racer dodging there. However, Euan is going to be taking first for sure. Actually, maybe not.
No, that one of Rated R dodged in a ghost and is able to keep first. But Tegan and Euan both benefiting from the shock.
Unfortunately for Tegan, looks like he's hitting maybe a pokey or something. And whoever that Roy is, I don't know if it's Sky or if it's a member of Rated R.
Another shot for TG, maybe? Yes,
Yep.
It does come in. Nice timing there from Euan. I would assume that was his shot call.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we're going to see if that's going to change the outcome of this race at the very end. There's a red going for Euan, but he's going to be able to get past it. And that's a lot of tour guides in the front. That's at least a 2, 3, 4, 5, if not a top 5.
That could be a top 5. Oh, no.
It's a first from K4I. It's a first from K4I. And then a 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 12 from the tour guides. So that's going to be a marginally winning race for them. Obviously, the first is massive for limiting the blow that could have potentially been the top 4 or even top 5 from the guides. So we are going to be seeing it potentially going more in the tour guide's favor, and yeah, that's going to be a +8 for them, and they have reduced rated R's lead now to 32. There are still 10 races to play though,
Hey,
so
obviously,
literally anything can happen. There could be another top 6.
You take anything after being on the receiving end of the top 6, honestly. Like, getting 2, 3, 4, 5, that's so much better. That gives you that little bit of confidence that you're not going to get completely blown out.
Yeah. Interesting, we're seeing from a member of Rated R in chat that they had Shock in 4th. However, it was stolen, so not quite the smartest play from them for holding that Shock for as long as they did, because the tour guides were able to quite literally snatch it right out from under them and use it to their advantage.
So we will see. I'm assuming that this will have been K5's track call, and being on a lighter character, it's going to be a lot easier for him to break away. Although, oh no, it's just lag. Yeah, he has managed to keep first, but he's being trailed by a lot of TG members.
You know, as you were
Although
saying,
it is a top 2.
Maybe on a lighter character, which may be, harder to break away from, but it is still K4I at the end of the day. You can never underestimate that man's running ability. One of the strongest and one of the fastest players, not even just in 150, but he's just as strong in 200 here as well. And he is proving it at the moment. He came in to the second war. He was not a part of the first war in which Rated R lost. He came into the second war, was able to help Rated R out and bring this to the point where we're at now, and now he is even more so solidifying why he is such a powerful player. Unfortunately for Euan, that blue is going to be hitting him, and while K4I is getting blue, that's still definitely going to be a top 2 for the side of Rated R.
Yeah, I mean, K4I had such a big break before that blue. It's kind of not going to have too much of an impact. And it looks like a lot of Rated R top spots still. Actually, but no. I'm stupid. It was just Vara up there. 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Not quite sure who that Shock was. It was likely Rated R's because they dodged Erickfree, and he is getting first. However, they did get a couple of TG members into set. So we're going to see what... Erickfree obviously getting first, and it looks like a top 2 for R, but we're going to see what the rest of the spots behind that look like.
If I'm correct, that's a top 3 as well. I believe the Villager is on Rated R's side. Yep, that's a top 3, 5, 6, 7.
That's another plus 30 race for Rated R. And yeah, they are starting to just run away with this. So unfortunately for the tour guides, all the momentum that they might have had is starting to go away. However, if there is any team that is capable of taking that momentum and turning it into their own game, they literally did it 2 hours ago in match 1. So I would not be surprised to see them do it again.
Of course. Obviously you can't be a team competing D1, let alone finals, without having that ability to just, mental reset. Things aren't going right. Okay, it's simply a case of just slightly adapting the playstyle to something which is going to obviously get you the win.
Of course.
Which, like you said earlier, they will have been in a pretty sticky situation and done the exact same thing to get that first win. And am I right in thinking they controlled most of the second match, right?
Yeah.
So they have shown today that they are capable of being on top of Rated R here.
Yeah, they have, and they did it before earlier today, and they've done it in the past as well. This would not be the first time. Well, I mean, today was not the first time that the tour guides were able to beat R in a war. They've done it before, and they are looking to do so again. Hopefully this Cheeseland race turns out to be what they want for them. Not much to really talk about on lap 1 of Cheeseland, but...
Yeah, nothing matters until lap 3, arguably. I mean, it's going to be... I don't know. So Euan is obviously the designated runner here from TG. But looks like there's not a single person who's even contesting him. He's just kind of getting to run for free. Even a Shock might not do that much in terms of his break.
But Yeah. There, as we know, it's Cheeseland, and I've seen breaks bigger than this destroyed by a blue, a shock, and a couple of people doing Bill Strat. Bill Strat obviously still exists in this mode.
Here's the blue.
Yeah, there's the blue. We're gonna see Euan opting not to cycle through boxes to try and get a horn, and he is unfortunately going to be blued and cut. So that the shock will cancel though, and that definitely looks like a TG shock. We saw a Yoshi dodge, and we saw that Link dodge.
We see a Rosalina dodging as well. Who
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure who that's from.
Yeah, and we're gonna be having a look. Erickfree making his way up, and he's gonna be getting a top spot
That
for
is
sure.
quite a nice pull, especially if
Yeah.
you can get this into a mid spot.
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna be looking at Erickfree passing a lot of R members. There's definitely a lot of R in the front, and that's gonna be a top 4.
No.
Okay,
Completely controlled by TG there is.
I don't know why I said a lot of R members. I meant a lot of TG members, but apparently I cannot separate my teams. There were a lot of TG members, is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And they do end up locking down that top 4.
I mean, obviously, Euan kind of making the, I guess, less stereotypically optimal play. Like you wouldn't expect to see the person running that track to get first. Never happens. But Euan was just able to build up such a convincing break that even the blue barely did anything. You're probably right in saying it was a TG shock as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because
canceled the blue.
Yeah, it nearly canceled the blue. It still didn't get him because of the invincibility frames.
Definitely a well-coordinated play from TG to get, and so I believe it was kind of just Euan on his own up there until that shock. So very nice comeback. Again, already showing signs of fighting for that spot, and it's only a 42-point deficit, which isn't that much with 8 races left.
For sure. And we're going to be having a look into this Mute City race. Mute City has been played all 3 races of this war, and I believe all 3 of them were in, or the first 2 were both in Rated R's favor, so we're going to see if TG is able to turn that back around. That's a beautiful trail from Euan onto Erickfree, and I'm not quite sure what the rest of the top spots look like besides Euan being in first. Maybe we can get a glimpse at that. I think it's TG in second, and maybe even third as well, but I could not quite tell. Okay, it's XNTS in second. And that's
the snipe comes in!
That's a very good snipe by him.
As well. I think XNTS just single-handedly destroyed that top 2.
I think that's
impressive.
I think that banana was from K4I, because XNTS was way closer.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, yeah.
That, either way...
Yeah, good stuff from K4I, though.
Completely just dismantled that top 2.
Yeah. Unfortunately, kind of a choppy view from my perspective, but should be able to keep things going. Unfortunately, quite a few...
Euan's just not allowed to move today.
I saw a shock. Whoever that Roy is. I don't know if it's Sky or if it's an R member or what, but that person was definitely holding a shock. We're going to be having a look into that situation. I think it was a star. Oh, there's the shock. And that's definitely an R shock. And Eric is going to be benefiting from that, taking 4 spots. And that's going to be, that's the 3rd straight win on Mute City for Rated R. And TG back to the drawing board for them. Every time TG gets a solid race, R comes right back with an absolutely dominating plus 20 or even more.
They come back with a better race,
Yeah. So back to the drawing board for them. They're gonna have to figure out what to do if they want to make this work, if they want to meet Encore in the finals of this tournament. And with a 64-point deficit to their name, they have a lot of work to do. And they are capable of it. They are definitely capable of it.
100%, yeah.
It's just a question of if and when it will happen.
I was very wrong when I said that there wasn't going to be many big races in this war. It's essentially, other than that 2, 3, 4, 5, it's only really been big races from either team. Which, honestly, I'd argue that makes it a little bit more interesting. Even though it is quite heavily in Rated R's favor, there's a lot more to kind of, look into in kind of dominant races from any team.
Right, of course. And
so we'll see TikTok clock, very good for first. So this will have been rated R pick, obviously.
Yep.
There's not really much in terms of catch up on this track. Like, obviously, there's the clock hop at the end, which if you fail it, you lose about a year of time.
Yeah.
I know from experience.
Unfortunately for Erickfree, that trail at the beginning is going to be sending him to the back. However, he does have triple shrooms and is going to most definitely be taking said shortcut. There we go.
Does make
Getting
it.
a lot of spots from it, actually. Actually, no, probably not, because that turn is one of the laggiest turns in the game.
Hey, being in the middle is a lot better than being at the back on this track, arguably.
Yeah.
Euan we're seeing, obviously, at the back.
Unfortunately for him, he's going to get an unfortunate bounce off of that clock hand there. So he has been sent back here. Whoever that Roy is, not quite sure if that's an R member or a team member, but whoever that is
That is a crucial miss of the box.
Yeah. A crucial box miss for them. But, you know, only time will tell. Only lap 3 will tell whether a shock happens, whether just TG does it the old-fashioned way of just killing everybody out. That bill is going to be big because this pack is close, and he's going to be able to pass quite a few people from it. Oh, wow.
And he dodges as well.
Bigger.
That will have been a TG and last in that case, most likely.
Yeah.
Although I think we do.
Still a top 2, probably a top 3 from Rated R.
Yeah, still a top 3.
Yeah, however, that did turn what could have been a terrible race for TG into a manageable race. That was
control.
Yeah, that was still probably like a -10.
Yeah,
however, that's much better than the minus like almost 25 that they were about to get. So they can be happy about mitigating the damage in that regard, but they definitely still have a lot of work to do if they want to whittle away at this now almost 80-point lead.
Yeah, they need to chip away at the damage instead of, you know, just limiting it. Because obviously slight losses are not going to get you anywhere if you're TG in this situation.
Slight wins are going to be nice. Big wins are going to be even nicer. But if I were TG, then I would be under the mindset of, like, you know, I think we're at the halfway point, actually.
Yeah, we are.
We are at the halfway point. So, you know, TG is going to have to be putting up an average of like 12 points, plus 12 per race. I think even more than a plus 12 per race if they're going to want to bring this home. And that is becoming hard, and that is becoming more unrealistic by the minute. But TG did win the first war by 100 points. So they have shown that they are capable of doing that amount of damage in that amount of playtime. So they're going to be going hard for this shock right here. We see a lot of them bagging. Darky, however, also bagging. That is something interesting to be seeing, though, because Darky is one of the most powerful 200 players in the game because of his incredible improv skill, his incredible item play, and just pure knowledge of the game mode. So to see him bagging shows how desperate of measures are going to keep this lead that they have. You would think that they would send someone else back there to keep their strongest pack player and runner up there, but no, they are bringing him back there.
I mean, obviously, Darky's strength is being at the front. You know, you want him at the very least like third, kind of making plays in those top spots. But you know, his versatility. Obviously, you can't just ignore how capable he is in every regard.
That is very true. That is very true. K4 is a similar play. K4 is in a similar situation where obviously, no, he's one of, if not the strongest runners in the game. That's a TG shock.
TG shock.
That is definitely a TG shock. And as I was saying, you know, K4I, another very, very versatile player, in the sense that, like, as we all know his running ability, but even then, like, we've seen him do incredible things for bagging as well. And Euan's going to be making his way up the pack.
Tegan gets taken out.
A lot of TG up here, but I think it was still a lot of R in the very, very front, which is what's going to matter.
Top 3. Oh no, Alpaco gets first, but it's still a 2-3-4 for rated R.
Yeah, no, you know, this is. I think that's a slight win in R's favor, and if it is, then like, hey, you're still getting the momentum because instead of a big loss, you're getting a slight loss, and that's better. Yeah, it is going to be a +2 for R. However, that is still better than most of the races that they've had, and maybe they can take a slight loss into a slight win, into a big win, into an even bigger win, and like with that, then they're back in it. But they're going to need to actually perform that on either Toad Harbor or Dolphin Shoals here. We're gonna maybe see. Okay, no combo switches, but
Well, so one thing I'd like to point out though is Rated R, right? They are arguably in the most comfortable position imaginable because they're in a spot where they can tank they can tank one really bad race. They can keep tanking these slight wins and slight losses, but they're also not in a position where they're up like 100 or so, where like there's no reason to be kind of, I guess, arrogant about what the position they're in. So they're still kind of like being forced to play it safe, which means they are a lot more likely to win in this situation from if they were up just that little bit more, I would say.
yeah, and
If you kind of see my logic there.
I can, yeah, and we are going to be looking at Bone Dry Dunes as the first of these final 5 races of this semi-final match. And Encore, I know, is watching and waiting to see who they're going to be playing against next Saturday at the same time. And things are looking more and more likely that it might be R, but once again, it is impossible to count the tour guides out for the effort that they've put in through these entire first 2 matches. And, you know, I'm sure R is aware of that, and they are still definitely going to be playing at the top of their game. Them in top 2 here, maybe even top 3, depending on who that Waluigi is. Yeah.
Well, tour guys have 76 points to make up in 5 races for anyone who's not bothered to work that out. So
which is possible. We know it's
it's
possible.
doable. Very much doable.
Mm-hmm.
I
I would not be surprised if that's about how much that the tour guides grew their lead by about 76 points in the last 5 races of Game 1. So if they're able to replicate a performance like that, then we could be looking at a close war. However, with how dominant of a display that R is putting on right now, they are holding this top 3, and they have a massive break now. Shock is looking to potentially be a factor. This blooper is going to definitely do some work. So is this blue. But, you know.
I mean, very, very clean driving
There's
from
Shock.
Eric with his teammates behind him. Shock comes in, but I don't think it will do that much.
I honestly think that was an R Shock because it didn't TS anyone from R, and okay.
Oh no, Alpaco takes first right on the line. We did see someone else taking cut in the last turn, but I can't entirely tell who that was. That's still a 2-3-4 for Rated R.
So much R behind Alpaco. Like, these firsts are great, and they're doing a great job of mitigating the damage by getting these firsts, but it's just a lot of these races end up being a one-man show for TG, and they're going to need to get more people up there if they want to bring this back, as they are now looking at an 80-point deficit with 4 races to go.
I mean, collectively, they need to be in the front more. I've noticed that Rated R have just been controlling the top 4 spots mainly. Just by the end of lap 1, it's normally 3 out of 4 Rated R in the top spots. And that, like, obviously with Rated R being as strong as they are, as strong as they have been for, like, ages now, you're just not going to get them out if you let them break away in those top spots. We saw it exactly that race with Eric being able to drive really, really, like, no pressure on him, but able to drive just really clean with his 2 teammates, kind of just keeping support. Like, you're not going to get that out if you're TG. It's just not going to happen.
Right. And it is now looking... Things are looking grim. And with 84 points to try and... With an 84-point hole to try and dig out of, they have 1 GP to do that. And I keep saying that the tour guides are the team that are capable of this, probably more than anybody else out there, except for maybe, Encore. But R is just looking as dominant as they always have, and it's going to take a lot from TG to actually do that damage that we think they're capable of dealing.
It just keeps slipping away for TG. Every race, it kind of just gets that little bit more out of reach.
Yeah.
Got less time to do the same thing, if not more, in terms of point deficit.
Alpaco is going to be in first, but the entire team of Rated R is going to be directly behind him. Euan is making his way up here as well, and I do believe that Alpaco is now gone. Euan, I believe, is in 4th, but not if any of these trails are going to have anything to say about that. Erickfree looking to maybe do something about it. K4I, okay, that was lag. Euan kind of slowing down there, and that's
Shot
because
comes in
they
from
have a
TG.
shot. And
One of
that-
TG looks to dodge.
Yeah, that is
Blue comes
that is the
in.
stuff that is the stuff that they are looking for, and that is looking like probably a few members of the tour guides dodging that shock there. As the top three, all three of them, all getting target shocked. We're gonna see a lot of people coming up in stars right now, from probably both teams. We're gonna see somebody in Bill Extension. Didn't quite get to see who that was, and Euan. This ghost is huge for Euan. That is
This is
the
the
best
top
that
three.
you could possibly
Top
hold.
three right now.
And this is definitely
right
a
now.
top
Sorry,
three
TG.
for TG. A top four? A top
Oh
five?
no! That's one of Rated R in first because TG's
yeah, it
only
is.
Roy. Yeah, Darky
you're right.
managed to keep first. It will have been
It's
him
a 2, 3,
who
4,
dodged the
5,
shark.
6. It's a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And, you know, that's kind of what TG has been doing this whole time, but this time, R did it. Once TG actually were able to put that big race together, R was able to do what TG have been doing this entire time and just mitigate the damage. Darky getting first there is absolutely crucial in every sense of the word, and that's going to keep R's hopes alive of the comeback not happening. But it's a start. It's a start for TG. They are definitely going to be winning that race. That is a plus 12 in their favor, and they now have momentum. They now have momentum, and they don't have much wiggle room, but they do have momentum, and that is very, very important right now.
They gotta take what they're doing right now and just like amp it up so much, because what they're doing right now, or at least like these last few races, they've shown what they're doing is fine, I guess. They just need to do more, and just with what they're doing.
Yes, there are in fact 3 races left, so they are going to have to win all 3 of these races by 24 points if they want to tie. A plus 24, a plus 24, and a plus 24 will result in a tie. And we are going to see if TG is able to squeeze out a little more than that, or if something else might happen in either direction, in either favor. Darky is going to be starting off in first, but Euan's going to be saying no to that, shrooming up immediately, and looking to maybe potentially trail him out there. Insta-trailing, knowing Darky's still in second, and trapping that corner. Definitely a nice move. However, Darky's smart enough to know to not deal with that. It looks like Darky went for, but unfortunately for him, failed. A good bomb attempt from Yoshi Racer. However, it fails. It ends up hitting nobody. And
so this is closer to what TG need to be doing at this point.
Yes,
Euan's solidified himself in first, obviously, unless a blue comes. He's probably not losing. I spoke too soon. Euan.
He's going to be chasing these boxes, though.
Just as he was getting comfortable in first.
Something.
Oh, the shock comes in, though.
That is absolutely a TG shock. Look at all the characters.
But Erickfree.
Oh, Erickfree dodging, though.
The shock and, yeah, he wins the race.
Well.
GG.
Yeah. I mean, the last turn of Animal Crossing is by far the most important, but I don't think that's going to be a factor with
Alpaco comes up. K4I comes up.
Those bills are going to be a factor. Alpaco is right on him in that bill, and we're going to see what the end of this race looks like. It is going to be a 2-4-5 for TG. I don't think that's going to be enough.
2-4-5, 7 and 9.
That is absolutely a winning race.
Again,
that first from Erickfree is absolutely massive, though, and it once again does the exact same thing as it did last time in just solidifying
+6 for TG
in there. It's a +6 for TG, so now they are in a situation where they have to win both races by. They have to almost get 2 top 5s.
Yeah, it's see again.
Okay.
It's
Let me tell you
exactly what I just said. They need to do more. They're doing the right thing. They just need more.
Let me tell you guys something. As dominant of a team that R has always been, ever since the start of 200cc, back when they were AX, back when they were rated R, they have always been the most dominant team ever. But let me tell you something. R has been in this situation in a 200 League match before, and they've lost.
So you know more about the history of 200 League than I do.
Yes. Last season, not this current one and not Overdrive, but last full regular season, they were up in the 60s, and the team they were playing against, which is now no longer a team, but they were able to pull 2 shocks on the last 2 tracks and able to end up squeaking away by 2.
Oh. See, obviously it's rated R. You don't want that to happen again. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I hope for their sake that they don't have to go through the same pain of losing by 2.
Brandon, I hate to bring that match up, but it did happen.
Sorry, Brendan.
So,
Euan,
unfortunate start for Euan as he's been
Yeah.
bumped to the back, and he's kind of sitting here with just a Nana and 1 coin, not really able to do much. Gonna trail and eventually get rid of it as he makes his way back up in the pack, but that trail from XNTS is huge because, yeah, it forces Euan to back off and it eventually forces him to trail his own mate. So that is going to... Actually, no. No trail, that was just lag. And oh, we see a lot of our members falling right here. We saw XNCS get trailed out. We see Euan trying to land the snipe on K4I, unfortunately failing.
which does
Succeeding,
connect
actually.
eventually. Oh my god,
After
that
about
was
7 bounces, it does
crazy
connect, but
great.
that Nana from Rated R is going to put them right back to square one.
I believe that's Alpaca in first, which is exactly what you need right now for TG. You know, Alpaca's been on fire these last, like, since about, I think it was like the first 3 or 4 races, he was maybe struggling a little bit, but since then,
That's going to be a
He's been on
huge TG shock. That is definitely going to be a TG shock. We saw Alpaca fall off. Unfortunately, Euan falling off as well. However, him still dodging is definitely going to be important. Yoshi Racer in that bill probably looks like he might have gotten a bad drop. I don't know who that villager is, but I'm almost... Who is that villager? There was not a female villager at the beginning of this war. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you. We do see, I think, XMTS lagging on the mini-map, but he's right up there now in second.
Yeah, it looks like maybe a 2-3-4-5. The smart steering from Euan is smart so that he doesn't replicate what happened lap 2, and it is going to land him in 6th. I think that's a 2-3-4-5. Yeah, it's going to be Tegan in first, but I think that is going to solidify it. I think that does not. That doesn't look like a plus 28 to me. Unfortunately, that does not look like a plus 28 to me. And unfortunately for the tour guides, and unfortunately for all of their fans in the chat, it looks like we are going to be seeing Rated R make the finals of 200 League yet again.
I mean, honestly, congrats to Rated R though. They lost the first match, barely clutched the second match, but now to have that mental strength to just hang
survive
on.
An entire best of 3 like that.
Yeah. And then kind of save the best till last in a sense. Just throw it all at TG when they really needed to do that.
And once again, I feel like I'm getting deja vu signal, but once again, the stage has been set, and for the second straight 200 tournament in a row, the finals are going to be Rated R versus Encore.
Oh, you'd love to see that. Think that, I don't know. Obviously, based off of just the regular season as well, I feel like obviously those two teams were kind of the dominating forces of D1 this season. So seeing those two in finals really is not a surprise. And hopefully it's another entertaining match. So I remember watching the finals between those two teams last time, the whole best of 3. And it was just it was an experience. It was just, you never thought that one team was going to run away with it.
Right, for sure.
Constantly on your toes.
Mm-hmm. And now that we are now that the war is over, and now that the stage has been set for these finals, what are you thinking?
Oh, so I don't know. I feel like it obviously you'll be the same here. So it's a bit hard not to feel a little bit of bias towards Encore.
Yeah.
The two teams
we are both a part of it. So I mean,
yeah. The two teams on paper though, it is very hard to separate them.
Yeah,
very
hard to separate them. They have always historically had close matches. Both of them have been able to, absolutely take over. I do believe that the tour guide's win earlier was the biggest win on a Rated R/AX team in the history of 200cc. Correct me if I'm wrong.
How much was that a win by? Just out of curiosity.
It was in the 90s. I think it was like 90. I think it was like. Actually, I can scroll up right now and have a look. It was an 84-point win for the tour guides, and I do believe that that's the most that anybody has ever won against this team. So they have shown that they can bleed. However, with that top 2, 4,
4, 5, 6, 7
that
from
top 2,
Rated
4,
R.
5, 6, 7 for Rated R.
I mean, hey, you just gotta. Sometimes you just gotta like show. Look, I'm the better team, and
Yeah.
like we are the better team. We are going to win. We will do whatever we can to win. And once we've already won, we're gonna make sure that you know that we've won.
Yeah, for sure. And
And plus 112, convincing is an understatement.
Yeah, and this may have become the Rated R show over the course of the last few races, but I gotta say, I have to give absolutely the biggest of shout outs to the tour guides for coming in and mixing things up a bit. They definitely showed what the up and coming 200 teams are capable of. They've shown that the giants of the scene can bleed, and they have shown that this is that 200cc is anyone for the taking. And I don't think that there is any more underestimating to be done across anybody, but it's definitely been an incredible match to watch, an incredible match to cast, and I cannot wait to watch the finals.
Yeah, I would like to mention though how the finals will have a completely different dynamic to this match, with
Absolutely.
obviously Chibi being a part of Encore and almost just designated to going for the shark, which will force Rated R to do the same thing. So the finals matches are definitely going to be pretty much who can use a better shark.
Yeah, and as I was saying, it's been an incredible match to cast, and as the chat has been spamming this entire time, we love you, tour guides. We do. They've put together a great season, and unfortunately, they will be losing here. However, they have definitely put together something that, if I remember, tour guides, I'd be proud of. I would be proud of the season. They were able to take a win off of Encore they were able to take a win off of Encore in the regular season. They were able to take a win off of Rated R in the playoffs, and they were able to keep things close for the entire time that they were around. So they definitely did a lot of great work here. But the finals, we're going to be looking at Rated R and Encore once again.
I mean, hey, they've shown that they're both just incredible teams. I'm really looking forward to being able to watch this match.
So, yeah, the 200cc side is definitely in good hands. But let's stop talking about 200cc for a moment so we can get into a little bit more 150 action for what's going to be happening tomorrow. Nino, if you'd like to pull up a graphic for us, there you go. Tomorrow, we are going to be looking back in and casting the Division 1 semifinals of MKU between Secret X and Zealous. That's going to be a good match.
Two of, like, I mean, I think of D1 and I think Secret X and I think Zealous when I think of D1. Those are kind of the two teams which have been very dominant. Well, Zealous only coming back this season, and Secret X kind of the last couple seasons being a very strong team in D1. With both teams offering pretty versatile rosters, but at the end of the day, just being exceptionally strong. That's going to be an absolute dogfight of a match. Both teams just not going to let the other one, get too much of a grip.
Yeah, and the stage has been set for the MKU semifinals. The stage has been set for 200L on both divisions. And we're going to be seeing Encore. Both of Encore's teams, Encore's second team made the finals in D2, and they're going to be playing against Freeze next Sunday at the same time. But we're going to be looking more into Encore 1's match against Rated R. And I think that will definitely be one for the ages. Both teams have put together incredible clashes over the entire time that they've been as dominant as they are. And with Encore's rise to prominence, a title would look really, really good on their resume. And that's what they're going to be going for sure.
I mean, I'm sad to be missing out on that sort of this finals next week because I'll be at work.
You are, and It's
Nah.
it's been really fun. To all the people, I think we peaked at nearly 200 people watching at one point. So to everyone that showed
that's
up,
brilliant.
everyone that showed up for 200cc, that's incredible numbers. So to everyone that showed up, thank you guys all so much.
Thank you so much for coming along. I really hope you all enjoyed it as much as I myself and Awoken enjoyed casting it, because
sure.
we had a good time.
Yeah,
I had a really good time.
We definitely did, and
it's like we said, it's been fun, and we cannot wait to see you guys both tomorrow for some 150, and also same time next week to watch the 200L finals. See you guys then.
Have a good time.